Chapter 68, Chapter 56. Gods of Light and Darkness, the Ultimate Fusion. Fran, Amanda, and Ariel were unstoppable as they coordinated their attacks, slaying any monster that dared approach Alessa City. Sword Technique, Wind Cutter. Fran unleashed a razor-sharp air slash that sliced through her foes. Whip Technique, Dragon Tail. Amanda's whip shimmered with energy, transforming into a deadly weapon that tore through multiple enemies in one sweep. Ariel stood her ground, blasting torrents of water to drown the encroaching monsters. From the city wall, a Satria clone barked out orders while grinning smugly. "More water, you useless sword! Show the world how amazing my baby girl is!" Baban's frustration boiled over. "Dumbass! I can't concentrate with you yammering. Assist Fran if you're so free." In the midst of the chaos, Amanda glanced at Fran, impressed. "Not bad. What's your name, girl?" "Fran," she replied, keeping her focus on the battle. Amanda smiled warmly. "Fran, hey? When this is all over, let's get to know each other better. What do you say?" Fran hesitated. "Sure." Amanda's grin widened. "From now on, we're friends, Fran-chan." She glanced at Vaporeon, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "And how about this cutie? Want to be my familiar?" From his perch, Satria's sharp voice cut through the battlefield. "Hey! I don't care if you're a woman, no one touches my little girl." Fran and Amanda exchanged nervous glances, sweat forming on their brows as they watched Satria's childish tantrum. Ariel smugly ran to Satria's lap, snuggling up and casting a mocking glance at Fran. Fran's eye twitched. "Don't act so special, stupid catfish. He's just being nice, not because you're special to him." The city erupted in cheers as Naruto and Satria's efforts wiped out the Black Dragon and its monstrous army. But the celebration was short-lived. Satria's playful demeanor vanished, his eyes narrowing as he sensed a far greater threat approaching. "Ariel, Pokeball! Now!" His tone left no room for argument, and the little Pokémon obediently returned to her ball. The ground quaked violently as an enormous, nightmarish creature descended upon the city gates. Its grotesque, spiked pink flesh and uncountable eyes, with one massive central eye, made it seem like something born of pure terror. The monster, larger and more horrifying than the divine dragon, loomed over the city. With a chilling screech, it unleashed a beam from its central eye, obliterating everything in its path, walls, buildings, and lives alike. The citizens of Alessa descended into chaos. "What is that thing? This can't be real. I must be dreaming, ha ha ha. It's over. We're done for." Amanda, though terrified, gritted her teeth and rushed forward. "I won't let it destroy this city!" Fran cried out in alarm. "Amanda-san! Wait!" Baban hastily appraised the Gankyu. _____. Status, Gankyu. HP, 85,000. Strength, 51,500. Vitality, 52,000. Agility, 5,000. Intelligence, 750. Dexterity, 15,000. ______. Fran! You must run! We can't defeat this thing!" Baban yelled in desperation. Fran shook her head. "I can't leave her, master." Amanda gritted her teeth as she poured the last of her energy into her whip. Heavenly Whip Technique. White energy surged through the weapon as she lashed out at the monster's massive leg. The attack landed with precision but didn't even scratch the grotesque creature's flesh. The Gankyu, unfazed, emitted a sinister laugh. "Hi hi hi!" The creature's enormous central eye locked onto Amanda, and with deliberate malice, it raised its massive foot, preparing to crush her. Amanda froze, flashes of her past rushing through her mind. She thought of the children she cared for at the orphanage, their innocent smiles, their laughter. I'm sorry. I failed you all. She closed her eyes, bracing for the inevitable. Fran! Don't do this! A sudden burst of movement broke through the chaos. Acceleration! Fran dashed forward, her body a blur, and yanked Amanda out of harm's way in the nick of time. Amanda opened her eyes, her heart pounding, only to find herself lying on the ground several meters away. She turned to see Fran standing where she had been, her small frame facing down the colossal foot descending toward her. Fran, why? Amanda's voice cracked with emotion. Fran glanced over her shoulder, her eyes calm but filled with determination. I couldn't let you die. That's all. Time seemed to slow as Fran turned her gaze back to the Ganku. Tears welled in her eyes, but she stood her ground. Satria. I'm sorry. I couldn't be someone worth standing by your side. Father. Mother. I'll be with you again soon. She closed her eyes, waiting for the end. No. Someone, please help her. Amanda's desperate scream echoed across the battlefield. The Ganku's massive foot came crashing down. A brilliant light engulfed the battlefield, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. The sheer intensity of it made time seem to stand still. When the light subsided, the air was charged with an otherworldly energy. A colossal figure now stood between Fran and the monster, its massive hand stopping the Ganku's foot effortlessly. The giant was a breathtaking vision of blue and white, radiating an aura of kindness, peace, and unyielding strength. Its form shimmered with divine energy, as if a god had descended to protect the innocent. Fran opened her eyes, her breath catching as she looked up at the titan. The being's presence filled her with an overwhelming sense of safety and wonder. Who is this guy? Baban's voice trembled as he stared in awe at the figure. The Ganku recoiled, its many eyes blinking in confusion and fear. The giant turned its calm gaze toward Fran for a moment before returning its focus to the Ganku. Its stance exuded confidence, as though it had already decided the monster's fate. _____. Dimensional chat. Spider-Man, that's a huge giant, but it's glowing like some kind of holy warrior. King of Knights, a divine protector? Perhaps summoned by Fran's pure heart. Pervert sage, the aura it's emitting, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. Could this be the intervention of a god from that world? Evil spirit, Aira, such a handsome giant. I'd love to study him up close. Kazuma-sama, forget studying, how do we get one of those on our side? _____. Fran could only watch in stunned silence. The giant's presence was overwhelming yet comforting, as if it were both a guardian and an embodiment of justice. Amanda crawled to Fran's side, tears streaming down her face. Fran, are you okay? Fran nodded slowly, her voice trembling. I'm fine. But who is? Amanda shook her head, unable to answer. The two watched as the divine giant pushed his enemy from them. At that moment, Fran's world shifted irrevocably. Her path, her destiny, everything had changed. For the first time, she truly believed that miracles were real. Satria could feel the power coursing through him in his Ultraman form. The sheer strength he wielded surpassed even his wildest expectations. His movements felt weightless, yet every step carried the force of a tidal wave. How much do they hold back on Earth? Satria thought as he raised his glowing hand, inspecting the energy pulsing through it. This is just the first form. I can't imagine how powerful the legend or saga form would be. From within his mind, Fatalis chuckled. Yes. Now kick his ass, darling. Satria rolled his eyes. Darling, your ass. His gaze shifted down to his hand, where Fran sat in his palm, her wide eyes filled with awe. She looked at him as though he were a god. Satria couldn't help but smirk. You're safe now, Fran. Carefully, he placed her and Amanda in a safe spot away from the battlefield, ensuring no harm would come her way. Fran's admiring gaze lingered on him even as he turned back to face the massive Ganku. __________________________________________________________________ Fran, Cookie's maniac, same here. I thought something terrible would happen to her. This giant is a real hero. Spider-Man, hold up, is that giant big bro Satria? Are you telling me he can transform into this too? Robin, what? He's already super fast, and now he can do this? He's full of surprises. Pervert Sage, I can't wait to see what he'll do in this form. It's going to be good. Evil Spirit, Ara, it seems Satria-kun was holding back all along, much like your precious Naruto. Hey! King of Knights! As death! ________________________________________________________________ Ah hee The grotesque monster charged at Satria, its hulking form rumbling the ground with every step. Satria stood his ground, unflinching. With one powerful hand, he caught the monster's tackle and, with a mighty swing, slammed Gankyu into the ground. The impact sent shockwaves rippling across the battlefield. Gankyu wasn't done yet. It leaped back, its many smaller eyes glowing ominously before firing a concentrated beam from its central eye. The attack was massive, a torrent of destructive energy surging straight toward Satria. But Satria was ready. With a flick of his hand, a radiant barrier formed around him, absorbing the attack with ease. Gankyu growled in frustration, but Satria didn't give it time to recover. A bright red glow began to encircle his body, the energy swirling around him like a storm. Satria's form began to shift, his body taking on streaks of vivid red that seemed to pulse with raw energy. The transformation increased his power exponentially, the very air around him trembling from his presence. Naruto eyes fixed on the battlefield where Satria, in his corona form, fought Gankyu with precision and elegance. Every move radiated raw power and an unearthly grace that Naruto had never witnessed before. To think he was hiding such power from me all along, Naruto muttered, a mix of awe and determination in his voice. The light emanating from Satria wasn't just powerful, it was serene, calming the chaos around them. In the mental space shared by the tailed beasts. Matatabi, Kyaa. Satria-sama is so cool. I want him to pet me like a good kitty. Kokuo, I wouldn't mind that either. His touch must feel divine. I bet he brushes fur like a heavenly groomer. Kurama, stop. Don't say anything more. You're embarrassing me. ___________________ Dimensional Chat. Kazuma-sama, watching him fight this giant monster feels like those superhero movies from my childhood. It's nostalgic and epic. Cookie's maniac, go, Satria. Beat the bad guy. You've got this. King of Knights, what exactly is he? Spider-Man, maybe he's a hero of light? He literally lights up the whole battlefield every time he transforms. Robin, genius, Parker. You're a goddamn genius. Spider-Man, what did I do this time? Kazuma-sama, he mean what kind of being is Satria? Is he an alien, a god, or something else entirely? _______________________ As Satria's battle raged on, something extraordinary happened. A voice whispered in his mind, soft yet resonating with immeasurable power. The world seemed to slow as golden lightning crackled around him. You've caught my attention, Satria, the voice said. It was the sentient force of velocity that governed speed itself. The Speed Force's voice resonated with warmth and authority, filling Satria's mind with an almost divine presence. You are unlike others who tamper with the timelines, it said, soothing yet firm. You respect the flow of time, face forward toward the future, and never disturb the past, even when you have lost something important in your life. I cherish beings like you. Satria furrowed his brows, his heart skipping a beat at the last part. Hey? Who are you? What do you mean I've lost something? What did I lose? The voice hesitated, a faint echo of sympathy laced through its words. That is a secret you must uncover for yourself. In time, the answers will come. Consider this a reward for your unwavering resolve and integrity. Wait! Satria called out, his voice filled with urgency. Tell me. What did I lose? But the connection was severed, and the voice faded into the void. The lightning surrounding him dimmed slightly, leaving behind a lingering sense of mystery. What have I lost? And why is this entity hiding it from me? He wondered, staring at the battlefield ahead. His gaze hardened. Whatever the answer, he would find it no matter how long it took. As if in response to its words, golden lightning danced across Satria's body, illuminating his form with divine brilliance. The energy seemed to merge seamlessly with his Ultraman transformation, amplifying his speed and power to levels beyond comprehension. Satria turned his attention back to Genkyu, who now seemed hesitant, its many eyes darting nervously. Let's end this, Satria declared, his voice calm but filled with an overwhelming authority. The colossal kaiju's mocking laughter echoed as Satria clenched his fists, his golden energy sparking with intensity. Ah-hee-hee-hi-hi, the monster cackled, its smug grin infuriating. Satria lunged forward, delivering a powerful punch aimed directly at the creature's massive eye, but his fist phased through as if striking a phantom. What the? Satria muttered, stumbling back. A massive kick from the kaiju slammed into his stomach, sending him skidding across the battlefield. He gritted his teeth, rising quickly. Why is my attack passing through? Am I caught in some kind of illusion? Or is this just his ability? And that stupid laugh! I swear, I'm going to shut him up for good. The kaiju summoned dozens of smaller eyes that hovered around him like drones, each glowing ominously. In unison, they unleashed beams of destructive energy aimed directly at Satria. He darted through the air, moving at light speed, evading the attacks with ease. He's hiding something. Time to experiment. Satria formed a golden spear in his hand and hurled it at the main eye. The spear vanished upon contact, seemingly absorbed by the kaiju. I see, he muttered, analyzing the situation. He maneuvered to the creature's blind spot and unleashed a devastating air slash with a roundhouse kick, catching the monster off guard. Ai! The kaiju shrieked in agony, recoiling from the unexpected blow. Satria smirked. Got it. If his eyes can't see the attack, his ability won't activate. I'll end this now. The kaiju, enraged, shifted tactics. Its central eye glowed with ominous purple energy, and it released a massive blast that absorbed everything in its path: structures, terrain, even light itself. Satria dodged effortlessly, his speed too much for the kaiju to track. But then the monster abruptly teleported, appearing in the heart of the city, aiming its devastating attacks at innocent civilians. No! Satria roared, racing toward the city as screams filled the air. People ran in terror, chaos erupting in every corner. Run for your lives! The monster is here! God of Light, please protect us! Satria positioned himself between the monster and the fleeing civilians, absorbing the full brunt of the attack. His golden aura shimmered as he stood his ground, shielding the people behind him. But then the kaiju's central eye glowed menacingly, and before Satria could react, a vortex of energy sucked him into the creature's body. The battlefield fell eerily silent. Esteth, why does he bother defending them? I'll never understand such foolishness. Evil spirit, even with all his bravado, he still puts others before himself. Robin, what's happening to him now? That thing just swallowed him whole. Cookie's maniac, I really hope nothing bad happens to him. He's too cool to lose now. Kazuma-sama, where the hell is Naruto when you need him? Isn't this his moment to shine? Pervert sage, you're right. Where is he? Satria. Fran clenched her fists so tightly her knuckles turned white. Once again, she felt powerless, unable to do anything to help him. The memory of him risking his life to save others burned in her mind, igniting a fire within her. I won't stand by anymore. I have to become stronger, she whispered, tears of frustration streaming down her face. Satria woke up, disoriented and surrounded by an unsettling sight, countless grotesque eyes staring at him from every direction. Their gaze burned into him, their glowing pupils unblinking and unnerving. Then came the sound. A cacophony of mocking laughter erupted, loud and incessant, reverberating through the space and piercing into his very mind. It was a sound designed to drive anyone insane. Psycha Blyat. His voice is super annoying. Satria yelled, clutching his head as the laughter intensified. How the hell do I escape from this nightmare? Fatalis, any bright ideas? Instead of a coherent response, Fatalis's voice rang in his mind, utterly unhinged. Katakin Pita. Katakin Pita, she babbled nonsensically, clearly affected by the overwhelming sound. Underscore. Kazuma-sama, everyone, turn down your volume. This is insane. Amelia has logged out. King of Knights, what kind of grotesque monstrosity is this creature? It's utterly repulsive. Robin, thanks for the warning, Kazuma. That sound is nightmarish. Evil spirit, I almost lost my mind from that cursed sound. How is he even standing right now? Amelia has logged back in. Robin, you okay, Amelia? Amelia, sorry, I reflexively logged out when I heard it. That sound was overwhelming. Cookies maniac, haha, rip that bastard apart, Satria. Make him pay. Asteth, has this brat gone feral because of the cursed sound? Or is that his normal personality? Spider-Man, someone visit Cookie's maniac world and give her elixir of mind, please. Robin, on it. Underscore. Satria gritted his teeth as the laughter grew louder, threatening to shatter his sanity. He pressed his hands against his ears, but the sound seemed to bypass even that, invading his very soul. This isn't the time for jokes, Fatalis, he barked, trying to drown out both the kaiju's laughter and Fatalis's madness. We need to focus. How the hell do we get out of here before we both lose our minds? No response came from Fatalis. Her usual wit and sharpness had dissolved into incoherent ramblings. Satria took a deep breath, forcing himself to think through the madness. If I can't stop hearing it. His hand trembled as he drew his finger. Then I'll make sure I don't hear it. Without hesitation, Satria stabbed his ears. Blood trickled down his face as the deafening sound faded into silence. Much better, he muttered, relieved by the temporary reprieve from the madness-inducing noise. His golden aura flared as his determination surged. Now, it's showtime, babe. With his focus restored, Satria examined the grotesque surroundings. The many eyes blinked and swiveled to follow his movements, unnerving but ultimately powerless now that he couldn't hear their cursed laughter. Your tricks won't work on me anymore, he growled, energy crackling in his hands. Let's turn this nightmare into your burial ground. Naruto's sharp senses tingled as he felt an unfamiliar presence. His eyes scanned the chaotic battlefield, but his instincts told him the threat wasn't something visible. Suddenly, a chilling voice broke the silence. Who are you? You think I don't notice you watching us? Naruto challenged, gripping his weapon tightly. A slow, mocking applause echoed through the space, and a figure materialized from the shadows. Clad in an aura of darkness and sophistication, the entity's eerie smile exuded both menace and arrogance. I never knew monkeys could do what you do, lowly god, the figure sneered, clapping slowly. Still, because you entertained me, allow me to extend an offer. Naruto's eyes narrowed as the entity stepped closer, radiating an overwhelming presence that felt nothing like the kaiju. This was something far worse. Surrender this world to us and swear loyalty to our emperor, the entity proposed with a sinister grin. Or do you wish to see this world annihilated by our forces? I am, after all, a gentleman. I'd rather not force you into submission. Naruto's jaw tightened, and his resolve hardened. I refuse, you bastard, he spat, his voice echoing with determination. With a swift motion, Naruto unsheathed Aim no Murakumo, the legendary blade shimmering with divine energy. He lunged at the entity, aiming to end this threat before it could spread further. But the blade never met its target. A shimmering yellow barrier materialized between them, effortlessly halting the strike. The clash of divine steel against the barrier sent shockwaves through the air, but the entity didn't flinch. Be at ease, Earthling, the entity said nonchalantly, examining his hand as though bored. To think that an Ultraman would appear on this primitive little world, how unexpected. Truly, you mortals continue to surprise me. The entity's gaze turned sharp, his grin widening. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Mephiles. Remember my name, for it will haunt you until the end of days. Naruto gritted his teeth, glaring at the smug being before him. What are you? What do you want with this world? Mephiles tilted his head, a glimmer of amusement in his eyes. You'll find out soon enough, if you survive. Consider this meeting a courtesy, ha 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 ha. With that, Mephiles raised a hand, his body dissolving into shimmering particles. His mocking laughter echoed as he disappeared into the void. Naruto stood frozen, the eerie silence left behind by Mephiles more unsettling than the chaos of battle. His grip on Aim no Murakumo tightened. I'll be ready for you next time, Mephiles, Naruto muttered, his voice filled with unshakable resolve. No matter what it takes. Satria's fist crackled with golden lightning, illuminating the dark abyss of space. He scanned the kaiju's inner body, his eyes narrowing as he located its true weakness and elusive, constantly moving central eye hidden within the grotesque nightmare of flesh and distortion. You've been annoying long enough. Without hesitation, Satria launched himself upward at an unimaginable speed. The golden lightning around him intensified as he vibrated his arms at light speed, building the power for one of the most devastating techniques in existence, the infinite mass punch. Unlike the Flash, who as a human relied solely on speed, Satria's Ultraman physiology amplified the technique with his superhuman strength, turning the attack into a planet-shattering force. With a deafening roar, his punch connected with the kaiju's core. The impact didn't just obliterate the monster, it unleashed a shockwave so powerful it rippled across the planet, shaking continents and sending tremors into space. The energy shattered nearby meteorites, extinguished small stars, and left a radiant golden trail in its wake. Satria emerged from the monster's collapsing body, his luminous form gliding into the sky. He restored his hearing and glanced upwards, sensing a looming threat. You've got to be kidding me, he muttered, his gaze fixed on the colossal battleship hovering above the planet. At that moment, Naruto teleported to his side, his face grim. Satria. They're about to destroy the planet. We need to stop them now. Satria nodded, his golden eyes glowing brighter. Without a word, he rocketed into space, with Naruto following close behind. Metamorphosis. Naruto's body expanded, transforming into a massive, 10-tailed winged demon cloaked in dark energy. His menacing form exuded primal power, rivaling even the battleship above. The two reached the cold vacuum of space, their eyes locking onto the enemy vessel. The massive battleship dwarfed everything in sight, its size rivaling a small planet. Its main cannon hummed with energy, preparing to fire a devastating beam that would annihilate Fran's world. _____. Dimension chat. Kazuma-sama, how are they going to stop that thing? Spider-Man, that ship is enormous. It could destroy an entire planet. Kuroniko, why are they attacking us? What did we ever do to deserve this? Evil spirit, Satria-kun, Naruto-san, don't sacrifice yourselves. Just escape with Fran while you still can. Esteth, seeing this, it makes you realize how insignificant we are in the grand scheme of things. Robin, they have a plan, right? They always do. ________. Naruto's voice echoed in Satria's mind, calm but firm. Do you have a plan, Satria? That thing is leagues above anything we've ever faced. Satria extended his fist toward Naruto, his expression resolute. Bump your fist with mine. I want to test something. Naruto hesitated, unsure of the purpose, but Kurama's voice broke through. Trust him. Just do it. With determination, Naruto raised his colossal fist and met Satria's. The moment their fists collided, an explosion of energy erupted, engulfing the surrounding space in a brilliant light. Light and darkness merged, their powers intertwining in perfect harmony. Memories, emotions, and raw energy flowed between them, uniting their souls as one. Their combined energy surged into a single form, a fusion of light and shadow, creating a being unlike anything the universe had ever witnessed. Mindscape. Naruto sat quietly in the mindscape, absorbing the memories of Satria. Scenes from Satria's childhood flickered before his eyes, warm family moments, innocent hobbies, and a loving home that Naruto could only dream of. For a brief moment, he found himself envious. Unlike Naruto's tumultuous upbringing, Satria's life was filled with love and comfort. His mother's presence, though frightening at times, was overflowing with affection, reminding Naruto of his own mother, Uzumaki Kushina. His father, however, was a different story. There was something enigmatic about him, a shadow cast over his character that left Naruto feeling pity rather than understanding. But the most shocking revelation came when Naruto learned the truth: he was just a fictional character. A creation of mere human imagination, crafted by the hands of writers. Naruto felt a pang of disbelief. To think that everything he had ever known, his life, his struggles, his very existence, was all born from a pen and paper. It was almost too much to bear. Now you've learned the truth, Satria's voice echoed in his mind. He was sitting on Fatalis' body, casually patting her head as if the revelation wasn't earth-shattering. How do you feel? Haha. Of course, it's a shock, Naruto admitted, rubbing the back of his neck awkwardly. To find out I'm just a fictional character and you're some reincarnated person, it's a lot to take in. Satria chuckled softly. We've both learned things about each other. But now, we have a deal, right? Don't tell anyone about this. This knowledge is hard to comprehend, and I don't want anyone to think their lives are meaningless because they're controlled by some writer. Naruto nodded seriously, the gravity of Satria's words sinking in. Don't worry, I'll keep it to myself. You're a good guy, aren't you? He grinned, trying to lighten the mood. Satria rolled his eyes. Idiot. Now let's finish this and save Fran's world. We have work to do, Dobe. When two forces converge, a pulse of energy radiated through the cosmos. White and black plasma intertwined, their brilliance reaching across space to the world below, where even the people of Fran's world could feel its overwhelming presence. What is this power? Impossible. To think such power exists in our world. Send your apostles to investigate this. The gods, watching from their distant thrones, were filled with awe and fear. The power that emanated from the merging of Satria and Naruto was unlike anything they had ever encountered. Even the god of blacksmith, the one who created Fran's sword, couldn't contain his excitement. How fascinating! I must visit them later. The light from this convergence took shape, and a new warrior appeared, one whose very presence radiated a terrifying balance of power. _____. Dimension chat reactions. Kazuma-sama, no way. King of Knights, one of them was already powerful, now they're combined. As death, yes. This is the real power I've always strived for. Pervert sage, at this point, no one from my world can surpass them. Robin, unbelievable. They can do that. Spider-Man, yes. You both are amazing, at God and at Shin. Now's the time to kick their ass. Kuroniko, his power. It's unimaginable. Even from here, we can feel it. People are starting to pray to them. Evil spirit, incredible. Truly, they are marvelous. Underscore. The new warrior stood tall, his presence overwhelming. Enormous wings spread from his back, black on the left, gold on the right. His body shimmered in a fusion of blue, white, red, and black, symbolizing the delicate balance between order and chaos. His head bore an eye slugger, a testament to his power and clarity. This being was known as Ultraman Order. Ultraman Order gathered the energy of both hope and despair from Fran's world, channeling it into his wings. The energy swirled, converging in his hands as he prepared to unleash his devastating attack. With a mighty roar, he fired a colossal L-style beam, a twilight golden beam that clashed violently with the energy blast from the massive battleship. The two forces struggled, the energy waves writhing in the void of space. But Ultraman Order's beam pushed forward, unstoppable, and soon the power of his attack reached the battleship, obliterating it in a cataclysmic explosion that shook the very stars. As the dust of the destroyed spaceship scattered into the cosmos, Ultraman Order stood tall, victorious. His light shone brighter than ever, signaling the dawn of a new era. Underscore. Dimension chat reactions. Spider-Man, they did it. King of Knights, good work. Robin, you two are incredible. Amelia, this is a miracle. Pervert Sage, as expected from my proud student. Party popper. Esteth, you two gave us an amazing show. Kazuma-sama, we must celebrate this in my world, at Shin. You are true heroes, chosen to defeat the Demon King in my world. Evil spirit, you just want to use him for your business, don't you? Kuroniko, thank you. Thank you for saving my world. Mission completed. 70,000 copyright will be shared. 30,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for Shin. 30,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for God of Hope. 10,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for Kuroniko. Participants will return in 30 minutes. Underscore. As the threat was destroyed, the sky cleared, and peace began to settle over Fran's world. Satria, his form now returning to its regular state, separated from Naruto. He turned to his companion with a smirk. You're not bad, Dobe. Naruto, with his usual grin, scratched the back of his head. You too, problematic brat. The two exchanged a fist bump, their bond strengthened by the battle they had fought together. They stood side by side, warriors from two worlds, their legendary deeds now cemented in history. Their tale would be sung far and wide, the god of light and the god of darkness, fighting together to defeat evil and save countless lives. As the credits rolled, a sense of fulfillment lingered in the air, knowing their victory would resonate through the ages. To be continued. Chapter 69, Chapter 57. The Kitten's Hidden Smile. Inside the cold, metallic confines of the spaceship's command bridge, an alien with an unusually elongated head and shimmering, obsidian skin stood rigid, his expression a mixture of fear and desperation. The dim lighting emphasized the deep lines etched on his face as he gazed at the massive screen before him. On the screen, a towering figure shrouded in shadows loomed, its presence exuding an aura of power and malice. Glowing red eyes pierced through the darkness, locking onto the trembling alien. You say, you failed to conquer that insignificant, backwater planet. The voice was deep, resonating with menace. There is a limit to failure, Mephiles. Mephiles swallowed hard, his sharp teeth clicking together nervously. My lord, we were unprepared. The planet was protected. The figure leaned forward slightly, its shadow expanding across the bridge as if reaching out to strangle Mephiles. Protected by what? Mephiles hesitated, his throat dry. By Ultraman, and demonic creatures whose strength is equal to him. We underestimated their resistance. His voice wavered, but he pressed on. Grant me one more chance, my lord. I swear, on my life, that I will return with their heads as trophies to present at your feet. The shadowed figure was silent for a long moment, the tension in the room thick enough to choke on. Then it spoke, its tone colder than the void of space. Indeed. The single word dripped with skepticism, making Mephiles shrink further into himself. You are fortunate, Mephiles. I am a being of patience, but even patience has its limits. The eyes flared brighter. This is your final chance. Succeed, and you will rise above the failures that stain your name. Fail. The figure leaned impossibly close, as if it could step through the screen. And you will face my eternal wrath. Your screams will echo across the stars for eons to come. Mephiles dropped to one knee, his fists clenched tightly against the cold floor. Yes, my lord. I will not fail again. The screen went dark, leaving the alien alone with the hum of the ship's engines and the weight of his own dread. Rising unsteadily, he muttered to himself, Ultraman, demonic creatures, no matter who or what you are, I will crush you. After completing their mission, Satria and Naruto made their way back to Alessa City. Naruto, true to his ninja roots, reverted to his human form and blended seamlessly into the shadows. Satria, however, strode confidently forward, unaffected by the need for stealth. As Satria entered the ruined city, his heart sank at the sight of destruction. Crumbled buildings, shattered streets, and despair etched on the faces of the citizens. It was a scene of tragedy. But Satria was no ordinary hero. Planting his feet firmly on the ground, he raised his hands, summoning the shimmering power of Miracle Realize. A soft, golden light enveloped the entire city like a warm embrace. In mere seconds, buildings repaired themselves, streets restored to their former glory, and the city stood tall once again. Next, he channeled Cosmos Force, releasing a radiant beam that swept through the area. The brilliant light healed wounds, cured diseases, and even lifted curses. The air grew lighter, and cries of pain were replaced by sighs of relief and joy. Satria surveyed his work with satisfaction. That should do it. Ah, wait! He turned to spot the beast man who had tried to rob him earlier. The creature, caught in the wave of healing, was trying to sneak away unnoticed. With a flick of his fingers, Satria used telekinesis to halt the would-be robber mid-stride. Not so fast, buddy. The beast man flailed helplessly in the air. No, no. Please, no more. I've had enough. Satria smirked. You'll make a perfect mascot. With another gesture, the beast man's form stiffened, transforming into a statue. The stone figure struck an unintentionally comical pose, now forever part of the city's decor. Why only me? The beast man wailed dramatically before the magic fully took hold. The citizens, now witnessing Satria's miracles, began to gather around the gigantic figure of their savior. Slowly, they knelt in reverence. God of Light! Thank you for saving our city. God of Light, are you the one who cured my daughter's illness? What can we do to repay your kindness, O Divine One? Satria raised his hand, his expression calm yet commanding. Enough. Helping those in need is my duty. Seeing you all safe and sound is reward enough for me. His voice was soothing, yet carried the weight of authority. And please, I'm not a god. Just someone, passing through. The crowd murmured in disbelief. Liar! Only a god could do what you just did. Stop being humble. You're obviously divine. The people, overwhelmed by gratitude and awe, began to cry tears of joy. Some even attempted to kneel lower than the ground would allow. One particularly enthusiastic villager stepped forward. Great God of Light! Surely, you desire some form of offering. A sacrifice, perhaps? What can we give to appease you? Satria froze for a moment, sweat dripping down his brow. Why are medieval folks always obsessed with sacrifices, he thought, suppressing a sigh. No need for that, he replied diplomatically, waving a hand. The crowd erupted into cheers and praises, their faith in the god of light unshaken. Satria, meanwhile, scratched the back of his head, trying to maintain his composure. Your devotion is appreciated, but seeing you all well and happy is more than enough, he said with a tone that exuded warmth and sincerity. As a token of my appreciation, I will grant you a gift, one that will bring hope and prosperity to this city. With a dramatic flourish, Satria raised his hand, and a brilliant light descended from the heavens. In an instant, a beautifully crafted magical well appeared in the park, adorned with intricate carvings that glowed faintly. This well, Satria declared, gesturing grandly, is no ordinary well. It has the power to heal any disease, smooth your love story, increase your luck, and even grant you power if you offer your treasures and pray with all your heart depending on your beliefs. His voice boomed with authority, though his inner thoughts betrayed him. Yeah, some of that is complete nonsense, but they'll believe it. The crowd erupted in gasps and murmurs of awe, their eyes fixed on the miraculous creation. I entrust this gift to you, Satria continued, his tone solemn. Take care of it, and let it be a symbol of hope for generations to come. Deep beneath the glowing facade of the well, things were far less holy. Satria's clone was orchestrating a far shadier operation, accompanied by Naruto and Fran. Naruto crouched low, forming a complicated magic circle glowing faintly with mana. Why are we even doing this? He hissed, sweat beading on his brow as the circle connected to Fran's inventory. Satria's clone waved a hand dismissively, a mischievous grin on his face. Less talking, more working, dope. Hurry up before my original finishes his remarkable speech. Fran shifted uncomfortably, her golden eyes darting between the two. This feels wrong, she thought, guilt gnawing at her. But when she looked at Satria's clone, who gave her an earnest puppy dog look, her resolve melted. He's doing this for me. I can't say no. Meanwhile, Baban hiding in the corner watched the scene with wide, disbelieving eyes. That blue giant up there, is you, he whispered harshly, pointing at the clone. A shady guy like you pulling off an aura like saint? What is wrong with this world? Satria's clone shot him a smug grin. Some people call it deception. I call it theater. The crowd stared in awe at the well, their faith in Satria unwavering. One brave villager stepped forward, tears streaming down his face. We are eternally grateful, my lord. No god has ever been as benevolent and approachable as you. Satria gave a solemn nod, the golden light surrounding him shimmering like a star. Then it is time for me to bid you farewell. Remember, I am always watching over this city. Do not harm one another, and let peace reign among you. With that, Satria's form dissolved into golden particles, scattering into the sky like a divine blessing. The townspeople erupted into cheers, their hearts full of gratitude. They marked this day as a sacred festival in Alessa city, vowing to honor the god of light's legacy. As soon as Satria vanished, the citizens wasted no time rushing to the well, tossing their treasures inside with fervent prayers. Jewels, grimoire, gold, and even trinkets clattered down, their owners shouting wishes for health, love, and power. Deep within the well, Naruto dodged a falling gem and groaned. They're throwing more in. We're gonna get buried. Satria's clone chuckled as he inspected a particularly shiny gold necklace. Relax, Dobe. This is our treasure trove now. They think they're making divine offerings, but really. He smirked. They're just funding our next adventure. Fran sighed, adjusting her inventory to accommodate the influx of goods. This feels so wrong, she murmured. Think of it as charity, Satria's clone said with a wink. Besides, they're happy, we're happy, it's a win-win. Baban, still hiding nearby, face-palmed. A god? More like a con artist. This world's sense of justice is so broken. As the villagers continued their offerings, blissfully unaware of the mischief below, the trio inside the well prepared for their next move. The group made their way to the guild master's office after finishing their tasks. The air was light-hearted, with an undercurrent of anticipation for what was to come. As they entered, Naruto bowed slightly. "Clint-san, sorry to keep you waiting." The guild master, a stout man with a kind yet commanding presence, waved a hand dismissively. "No need to apologize, Patrol-san, or perhaps I should say Patroness-sama." His voice was filled with gratitude. "You and your companions have done more than enough to protect our city from disaster." Clint gestured to an attendant who entered the office carrying several items wrapped in velvet. "We've prepared a special reward for you all. I'm not sure if these will match your incredible skills, but please accept them as a token of our gratitude." The attendant carefully placed the rewards on the table. 9 million gold coins. An advanced magic book. Black dragon armor, male and female sets. A black dragon dagger. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the dazzling array. "That's generous." Satria, however, was already eyeing the black dragon armor with a gleam in his eye. Without hesitation, he grabbed the male armor. "I'll take this." "Hey, dope, you don't need this, right?" Naruto sighed, his arms crossed. "What would a ninja like me do with knight armor?" "Go ahead." "Yes." Satria beamed, immediately donning the black dragon armor. He turned to Fran with an eager grin. "Fran, look! We have matching outfits now." He spun dramatically. "How do I look?" Fran's face turned crimson, her heart skipping a beat. "Couple outfits?" she thought, her mind racing. Yes. "You look good, Satria," she stammered with a nervous smile. Baban nodded in approval as he examined the armor stats. "The dragon armor has impressive defense and boosts. Fran, you should wear the female set later. It'll help in battle." Fran, still flustered, nodded quickly. "Oh okay." Clint watched the interaction with an amused smile before clearing his throat. "What do you plan to do next? If you'd like, I can arrange for a permanent residence in Alessa. You're more than welcome to stay here." Satria shook his head with a kind smile. "Thank you, brother, but we must refuse. We want to explore this world more. There's still so much to see." Clint sighed, a hint of regret in his tone. "A shame, but understandable. My offer will always stand if you change your mind." He reached for a badge from his desk and handed it to Satria. "Now, on to another matter. I'm raising your rank to S rank for both you and Patroness." Fran's eyes widened in surprise as Clint turned to her next. "And you, Fran, are now B rank. Congratulations to all three of you." The group exchanged looks of excitement and gratitude. "Thank you," Satria said with a respectful nod. "Just make sure to keep making waves," Clint added with a chuckle. "This city will always be proud to have had heroes like you." As the group left the office, Satria couldn't resist one more twirl in his new armor, the gleaming black plates catching the sunlight. Matching outfits and new ranks. "Fran, this is a good day, don't you think?" Fran smiled softly, still a little red. "Why yet? A very good day." As the time to part ways drew near, Satria turned to Fran, his expression serious yet gentle. "So, Fran, you're sure you want to stay in this world?" he asked, his voice carrying both concern and understanding. Fran nodded firmly, determination shining in her golden eyes. "Yes. I want to grow stronger and learn more about my world. When I've achieved my goals, I'll come find you. I'll stay by your side, Satria." Satria smiled warmly, admiration clear in his expression. "You're always welcome, Fran. After all, nothing is stronger than family." Fran couldn't hold back her emotions any longer. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him, tears spilling down her cheeks. Satria, touched by her sincerity, knelt down and returned the hug, holding her close. As they embraced, Satria spoke softly, his voice full of reassurance. "You've got a good heart, Fran. I know you'll achieve great things here." Fran's voice wavered as she spoke through her tears. I never thought I'd have a family again. Thank you for being in my life." She tightened her grip, pouring all her gratitude into the hug. To Fran, Satria wasn't just a companion, he was the first person who truly cared for her and treated her like family. Naruto watched the touching scene with a warm smile. "Hey, Fran-chan," he said, stepping closer, "if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll always be ready to help you, too." Fran wiped her tears and looked at Naruto, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Naruto-san. I'll remember that." A soft, radiant white light began to surround Satria and Naruto, signaling their departure. The two stood, their forms glowing brighter with each passing second. "Take care of yourself, Fran," Satria said, giving her a final smile. "We'll meet again someday. Until then, keep chasing your dreams." Fran nodded, her resolve renewed. "I will. Goodbye, Satria. Naruto-san." With a flash of light, Satria and Naruto disappeared, leaving Fran standing alone. She placed a hand over her chest, feeling a mix of sadness and determination. Satria's mansion. Kyoto, Japan. Satria stepped through the grand entrance of his mansion, stretching his arms wide. "Finally back. Home sweet home." Kiyohime appeared almost instantly, her radiant smile lighting up the room as she approached him. "Welcome back, Dana-sama. How was your adventure?" she asked, her tone a mix of curiosity and concern. With a grin, Satria began unloading items from his storage skill onto the table: gold coins, intricately designed armor, and various other treasures. "It was incredible. Let me tell you, it had everything: my hand getting scorched by a friend, a horde of monsters attacking a city, and even an alien invasion trying to destroy the world." Kiyohime's eyes widened, and her smile faltered as she quickly began inspecting him for injuries. "You got hurt?" she exclaimed, her fingers carefully running over his arms and torso. "Who dared to harm my Dana-sama? Tell me their name, and I'll burn them to ash." Satria laughed softly and pulled her into a reassuring embrace. "Chill, my love. It's nothing to worry about. I already handled it. Did you forget who I am?" Kiyohime relaxed slightly in his arms, but her eyes remained fierce. "You're my precious Dana-sama, and it's my duty as your wife to take care of you," she declared with unwavering determination. "Well, yes," Satria admitted, a hint of a sheepish grin appearing on his face. "I was hoping for a bit more praise, but I'll take it." He nervously ran a hand through his hair, his voice dropping into a soft, playful tone. "Can you pamper me? A day without you feels incomplete, Kiyohime." Her expression softened into a loving smile. "Of course, Dana-sama," she replied gently, guiding him to sit on a plush sofa before easing his head onto her lap. Her fingers tenderly combed through his hair, each stroke filled with care and affection. As she gazed down at him, a thought crossed her mind: he always acts so strong, but deep down, my Dana-sama is fragile. He craves love and care, and it's my honor to give it to him." Satria closed his eyes, letting out a content sigh. "You always know how to make me feel like a king, Hime." Kiyohime leaned down slightly, her voice a soothing whisper. "Dana-sama, I love you." A warm smile spread across Satria's face as he opened his eyes to meet hers. "I love you too, Hime. You're the reason I breathe, the reason I smile. You're my everything." For a moment, the world outside ceased to exist. In their little sanctuary, surrounded by love and trust, nothing else mattered. Satria stood behind Valyana, carefully fixing her hair in front of the mirror. She had been on her way out, but he had stopped her when he noticed something out of place. "Why are you so good at this?" Valyana asked, a hint of curiosity in her voice. She was often surprised by his many talents. Not only was he a skilled fighter, but he also seemed to excel at everyday tasks with effortless ease. Satria chuckled softly as he gently brushed her hair, taking care not to pull too hard. "I had a younger sister in my past life," he explained, a faint smile touching his lips. "I used to do this for her all the time." With practiced hands, he worked through her long, beautiful hair, removing tangles with a soft touch. He combed section by section, ensuring each strand was smooth and flawless. Valyana stayed still, enjoying the gentle care he gave her. Once her hair was completely tangle-free, Satria took a step back and admired his handiwork. "There, all done. You really need to take better care of yourself, princess. It's a shame for someone as beautiful as you to ignore this." Valyana smiled, leaning into his touch as he began massaging her stiff shoulders. This man. How can he be so perfect, she thought, her heart warming at his attentiveness. "I'm lucky to have you in my life, hubby," she said with a chuckle. "My wife is really cute," Satria teased, pinching her soft cheeks gently. "So chubby." "Stop it. I'm not chubby." Valyana protested, puffing her cheeks in mock anger. Satria burst out laughing. "Haha, sorry, love." He leaned down and kissed her cheek. "So, where are you heading today?" "I'm going to meet my team," Valyana replied, her expression softening. "There's a new member joining Cow's brigade, and I want to learn more about them." Satria raised an eyebrow. Who's this new member?" Valyana shrugged. "I don't know yet. That's why I'm going to gather some information." "Good girl," Satria said with a smile, patting her head. He reached into his pocket and handed her a black card. "Here's some pocket money. Use it wisely, and don't spend it all on ramen." Valyana narrowed her eyes playfully. "What do you think I am, a glutton?" "Who knows?" Satria teased with a wink. "Just be careful, okay? If you need me, just calling Omaya, Manus." Valyana rolled her eyes, laughing at his mix of languages. "Don't do that, hubby. It's weird." She stepped closer and kissed him softly on the lips. "Goodbye." As a magic portal appeared before her, she gave him one last smile before stepping through. Satria watched her leave, a soft grin on his face. "Stay safe, princess," he murmured, already looking forward to her return. Satria unlocked his phone and noticed a message from his white kitten. A smile crept onto his face as he read it. Is she missing me? Let's find out, he muttered with a playful grin. _____. Konako, senpai. Are you free today? Satria, yep. What do you need from me? Konako, can we meet now? If you're not busy. Satria, are you, perhaps missing me, my dear kitty? Konako, ahem. I don't know what you're implying, senpai. Unamused face. Satria, you don't miss me. My heart is shattered into 1,000 pieces. Goodbye, cruel real world. Time to seek solace in anime and find a new waifu. Konako, geez. Senpai, you're always so dramatic. Do you want to come with me or not? Pouting cat face. Satria, not until you answer my question. I'm not moving an inch until I hear the truth. Humph. Face with look of triumph. Konako, fine. I, very, miss you, senpai. If you're not careful, this kitten might turn into a tiger and devour you. Cat face with wry smile. Satria, sounds more like a reward than a threat. Alright, since you're this serious about inviting me, let's go. But don't get the wrong idea, it's not like I'm looking forward to this or anything. Humph. Konako, you're so troublesome, senpai. To think I once thought you were a cool guy. Satria, hey, I am a cool guy. Where are we meeting? Konako, Kyoa Shopping Mall. There's a new cafe with great cake, and they're offering a couple's discount today. You're escorting me. Satria, I'm ready, sweetie. Prepare to fall even harder for me. Konako, stupid senpai. _______. Satria chuckled, amused by the playful banter. She's so precious. I love her. He headed to his wardrobe, picking out a semi-formal outfit, a turtleneck under a blazer for that sharp, stylish look. After applying pomade to his hair, he examined himself in the mirror, striking a pose. Look at you, Satria, he said to his reflection. The very definition of handsome and brave. Satisfied, he stepped out of his room and approached Kiyohime, who was busy organizing something. Dear, can I ask you something? He said hesitantly. Kiyohime turned to him, her eyes widening slightly. Oh my Dana-sama, you look so handsome today. Now, who's the lucky lady? Her gaze turned sharp, a glint of suspicion in her eyes. Satria scratched the back of his neck nervously. You remember the kitten I told you about, right? I promised to escort her today. Please let me go on this date. Kiyohime crossed her arms, tapping her fingers thoughtfully before responding. Normally, I'd punish you for even thinking about this, she began, her tone serious. But since you told the truth, I'll let it slide this time. However, she stepped closer, her expression darkening. No intimacy with that cat until we approve your relationship. If you defy me. She mimed a slicing motion across her neck. Are we clear? Yes, ma'am. I would never do that without your approval. Satria quickly agreed, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. From his mind, Fatalis chimed in with a sly grin. The day Satria is taken down by his wives draws near. School days is becoming reality. Ngaur. Don't say things like that. Satria shouted back, now visibly shaking. Konako sat on a bench near the mall, nervously fidgeting with the hem of her yellow dress. She had picked it out specifically for today, pairing it with a bell collar around her neck and white stockings. Though not particularly knowledgeable about fashion, she'd done her best to look good. Is this outfit good enough? Maybe I should have asked someone for advice. Not that my figure compares to Buku or Akeno-san. Men probably prefer their kind of bodies, she thought, her face darkening with self-doubt. Her thoughts were interrupted by a commotion nearby. She turned her head to see a familiar figure surrounded by a pair of overly forward women. Hey, handsome, why don't you play with us? One of them cooed. Don't worry, we'll be gentle, the other chimed in. Satria looked visibly uncomfortable, trying to fend them off. Please leave me alone. I swear I hate this world sometimes. Konako stood up, her eyes narrowing. That man is my boyfriend. Back off, she declared firmly, stepping between them and Satria. The women clicked their tongues in annoyance before walking away. TCH. Let's go. As they disappeared into the crowd, Satria heaved a sigh of relief. Konako. You're my hero. Konako chuckled softly. Now, shall we go together, senpai? Satria smiled warmly at her. Sure. The two walked hand in hand toward the cafe. The line was long, likely due to the promotion the cafe was running. After waiting patiently, they finally reached the counter. What do you want, Konako? Ahem. This one. Konako pointed to a parfait for couples and a chocolate donut, while Satria ordered a coffee latte and omelette rice. Thank you. Your order will be served shortly, the cashier said with a polite smile. After paying, they headed to their table. Anything new on your side? Satria asked, taking a sip of water. We're going to the familiar forest tomorrow with Buku and the others, Konako reported. We earned the trip after defeating Sanasama's peerage in the dodgeball match. Familiar forest, hey? Sounds like fun. Like catching Pokemon. Pokemon. It's like familiars, but from my world. I even have one. She's super adorable. Konako chuckled, amused. You're cute, senpai. Satria frowned, puffing out his chest. I am not cute. I'm the very definition of an alpha male. A voice in his mind Fatalis snickered. Ha! That's a good one. Shut up, Fatalis. Satria snapped internally. You're always teasing me. Fatalis laughed again. What can I say? Like Konako said, it's your fault for being cute. Konako tilted her head. What about you, senpai? Any stories to share? Satria nodded. Do you believe me if I told you I went to another world yesterday? Really? Tell me more. He launched into a tale of his adventure, describing how he helped destroy a horde of monsters. But when he spoke fondly of a black cat named Fran, Konako's ears twitched in annoyance. Who is this black cat, senpai? Her name's Fran. She's an amazing girl so determined to grow stronger. She hates being coddled, which is admirable. And what's your relationship with her? Konako's tone was calm, but there was a tinge of jealousy. She's my friend. If you're uncomfortable talking about her, we can skip it. Konako hesitated before shaking her head. No. Please continue. Satria smiled and continued, eventually describing his fight against Naruto. Konako's eyes widened in shock when he revealed that Naruto would be her new senjutsu teacher. Wait. This Naruto? Who is he? In his original world, he was a human. A child of prophecy destined to bring peace. After his world was destroyed by his nemesis, he became a god in another world, Satria explained. Humans can ascend to godhood? And use senjutsu? How? Stick with me, kitten, and you'll see things that defy belief. But this is your last chance to step back. Once you're with me, there's no going back. Konako's gaze softened. I don't want to leave you, senpai. No matter what happens. Satria grinned. Don't regret it, you hear. Just then, the server arrived with their orders. Excuse me, can I set these down? Go ahead, Satria replied. As the server arranged their food, Satria noticed the parfait had 2 straws clearly meant for couples. A mischievous idea formed in his mind. Miss, could you take a picture of us? It's for the couple's discount, right? The server smiled and nodded. Yes, of course. Konako's cheeks turned bright red. Why is he always so bold? Guys in anime don't act like this. The server snapped a picture as Satria and Konako shared the parfait, their faces close. Thank you, Satria said, taking back his phone. You're welcome. The server bowed and left. Satria turned to Konako with a playful smile. When I eat this donut, it reminds me of you. Why? Konako asked, tilting her head. Because you're so sweet, Konako. Her face flushed a deeper shade of red as her heart fluttered. Baka-senpai. And don't eat my snack. She snatched the donut from his hand, glaring at him. Satria laughed. All right, all right. No more stealing. But you really are adorable, you know. Konako's lips curved into a small smile. And you're so annoying, senpai. They continued their meal, their light-hearted banter filling the cafe with warmth and laughter. Konako returned home with a light skip in her step, her usual stoic expression softened by the glow of happiness. It had been a good day, a rare one that she cherished. She entered Issei's house, where her current residence was, and paused upon seeing everyone gathered in the living room. The usual members of the Occult Research Club were present, but there was also a new face. Ravel Phoenix, dressed elegantly as always, sat primly on the couch, chatting with Asia and Issei. Konako raised an eyebrow but didn't say anything. She moved to take a seat when a teasing voice called out. Ara, someone's in a good mood. I wonder what could have our adorable junior looking so happy. Akeno said, her tone dripping with curiosity. Konako froze, the tips of her ears turning red. She quickly masked her emotions, sitting down as if nothing had happened. Konako, Rias began, her tone firm. Care to explain where you've been today? You left without notifying anyone. All eyes turned to her, and Konako shifted uncomfortably under their gaze. I went to be continued. Chapter 70, Chapter 58. Secret Weapon. Satria Mansion. Kyoto, Japan. Satria was in high spirits after his successful date with Konako. Now, he found himself relaxing by the pool, gazing at the moon's gentle reflection on the water. He decided to unwind further by pulling out a simple toy from his inventory, a pair of Lotto clackers. The rhythmic clacking sound echoed in the tranquil night as he played with it enthusiastically. That was until a voice rang out from inside the mansion. Dana-sama. Please don't be too loud when playing with your toys, Kiyohime called out, her tone a mix of reprimand and affection. Satria stopped mid-clack, sulking. Okay, Mom, he muttered, clacking the toy slower. Not fun anymore. Fatalis chimed in, her teasing voice breaking the silence. Why not cheer yourself up by opening the mission rewards? Maybe you'll get something fun to play with. Satria's mood instantly lifted. Nice idea. Let's do it. _____. Opening surprise box. Congratulations! You received the tutorial book for the 3 forms of haki. Description: contains detailed instructions on mastering the 3 types of haki. House Hoku Haki, Conqueror's Haki, the power to dominate the wills of others. Busos Hoku Haki, Armament Haki, the ability to manifest invisible armor or enhance physical attacks. Kanbunshoku Haki, Observation Haki, the skill to sense intent, emotions, and predict movements. _____. Satria's eyes widened. Whoa, Haki! This is good! Watch out, world, the Honorable Satria is set to take the world by storm. Satria sat cross-legged under the moonlight, flipping through the Haki tutorial book. With the help of his speed force, he absorbed the contents at light speed, each word embedding itself firmly in his mind. In no time, he had mastered the theoretical knowledge of all 3 forms of haki. Closing the book with a satisfied grin, he stretched his arms. All right, Fatalis, ready to witness greatness. Fatalis sighed. What are you planning this time, Satria? With a mischievous glint in his eye, he reached for his Lotto. Behold! The ultimate fusion of tradition and power, haki-infused Lotto. Watch and tremble before my secret weapon. Covering the toy in a faint sheen of Busos Hoku Haki, he began playing with it at a blinding speed. The clacking sound echoed loudly as the balls collided with each other, vibrating with incredible force. Fatalis, unimpressed, muttered, This is what you came up with after reading Haki for Dummies. What do you think about my new ultimate techniques? Satria ignored her and sped up, the Lotto becoming a blur in his hands. Prepare to witness history arc. The balls ricocheted and slammed into his jaw with tremendous force. Jangkok! Socket Banjit, Asu! Satria yelped, clutching his face in pain. His grand demonstration had backfired spectacularly. Fatalis couldn't hold back her laughter. I think, you're an idiot. A very loud one. Before Satria could respond, Kiyohime's voice rang out from inside the mansion. Dana-sama! You're being too noisy again. Stop playing with that ridiculous toy, or I'll confiscate it. Satria froze, a bead of sweat running down his temple. Yes, dear. I'll stop. Fatalis burst into even louder laughter. Ha ha ha. Kapok Diomelon. Serves you right for trying to turn a kid's toy into a weapon. Still rubbing his sore jaw, Satria muttered, Humph, genius is never appreciated in its time, next. _____. Opening surprise box 2. Congratulations! You received the Op no Mi. Description: a paramecia-type devil fruit granting the user the ability to create a spherical force field called room, within which they can freely manipulate objects, people, and even anatomy as if performing surgery. _____. Satria let out a loud laugh, his excitement echoing under the night sky. Op no Mi. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Fatalis groaned, already dreading where this was going. Let me guess, you're not going to use it for its intended medical purposes, are you? Instead, you'll prank people left and right, won't you? Satria shrugged with a mischievous grin. What can I say? My healing powers are already OP. I don't really need it for that. But pranks? Oh, the pranks I could pull. Imagine swapping someone's arms with their legs for a day. Fatalis face-palmed. You are a menace. A literal menace to society. You were given one of the most powerful tools for doctors in existence, and your first thought is to use it for comedy. Satria chuckled. Relax. I'm just kidding. Maybe. Besides, I've been thinking, maybe I'll swing by a university and learn some real medical knowledge. I could be a world-class surgeon in no time. Fatalis raised an eyebrow. You? In a classroom, actually studying? I'll believe it when I see it. Hey, I can be serious when I want to. Satria retorted, crossing his arms. Think about it, Fatalis. With this fruit and proper training, I could revolutionize medicine. Imagine curing incurable diseases or performing surgeries that no one else can. I could save countless lives. Fatalis tilted her head, her tone softening slightly. All right, that actually sounds admirable. But knowing you, I won't hold my breath for the serious doctor arc just yet. Satria laughed again, twirling the devil fruit in his hand. We'll see, Fatalis. We'll see. For now, let's just say I'll use it responsibly, mostly. Fatalis sighed. Yes, now open the last reward. ___. Spin one number, you received a Vaporeon costume. Description: this luxurious onesie is unmatched in quality and design, featuring rich colors, thick fabric, and professional stitching. Perfect for relaxation or cosplay. ___. Satria held up the Vaporeon costume with a gleam in his eyes. Wow! I hit the jackpot! Without hesitation, he slipped into the costume and struck a dramatic pose. The sight of him, a grown man in a snug Vaporeon onesie, was both comical and oddly endearing. Fatalis! His voice dropped to a deep, almost regal tone. Yes! Fatalis stammered, startled. Whenever Satria used that tone, it usually meant he was about to declare something serious or ridiculous. He turned to her with an intensity that could rival the most serious of warriors. I have realized, my true dream. Your dream? What is it this time? Fatalis tilted her head, bracing herself for the inevitable absurdity. My dream is to become the god of Vaporeon. Satria proclaimed with the conviction of a man unveiling the meaning of life. The entire house froze. What the actual? Fatalis's jaw dropped. I knew you were an idiot, but this is a whole new level. The god of Vaporeon? What does that even mean? Valyana peeked from the doorway, her face as red as a tomato. She looked at her husband, standing there proudly in the ridiculous costume, and covered her face with both hands. What kind of dream is that? You're so embarrassing, idiot hubby. Albion, the dragon bound to Valyana, was roaring with laughter inside her mind. Ha ha ha. Valyana, this is your mate. Truly, he surpasses all I've seen in my long existence. A true anomaly among men. Kiyohime appeared in the doorway, rubbing her temples. She took one look at Satria, sighed heavily, and shook her head. Danasama, you're absolutely hopeless. How am I supposed to defend you when you act like this? Satria puffed up his chest, completely unbothered by the criticism. You don't understand the majesty of this dream. Boo! Fatalis sighed, finally resigning herself to her fate. You know what? Sure. Go ahead. Become the god of Vaporeon. But don't come crying to us when you get banned from public places for being too weird. Satria gave a thumbs up, the Vaporeon tail swaying behind him. You'll all see one day. Mark my words, this dream is going to change the world. Satria wandered the quiet streets, enjoying the crisp night air and the solitude. He had left his home for a night walk, seeking a peaceful spot to smoke and collect his thoughts. I wonder how Clint managed to craft the dragon armor so quickly, he mused, checking the dimensional chat. His balance showed 77,500 coins. Just 2,500 more coins to go before I can unlock the legend form. No rush, things are calm for now. Lost in thought, his footsteps slowed as he noticed a girl sitting alone on the side of the road. The girl had an air of melancholy, her posture slumped as she hugged her knees. She appeared to be a high school student. Satria approached cautiously, his tone gentle. Hey, you okay? A kid like you shouldn't be out here all alone this late. It's dangerous. The girl looked up, offering a small smile. The last train already left. I've got no way to get home. Satria raised an eyebrow. So you're just planning to sit here all night? That's not smart. What's your name? Seu Aguilera, she replied softly, then hesitated before adding with a playful smile, how about you let me stay at your place, Unii-san? Satria blinked, taken aback. Seriously? You're not even worried I might do something to you if I take you home? Seu stood, her cheeks flushing. I wouldn't mind, actually. You're handsome, and you seem kind. Satria sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. While he could sense there was more to her story, this kind of behavior worried him. He could only imagine what had driven her to act so recklessly. Listen, he said firmly, you shouldn't throw yourself at strangers like that. It's not safe, and it's not right. Treasure yourself more. Seiu's playful demeanor faltered. I don't really have a choice right now, she mumbled, looking away. Satria frowned, feeling a mix of pity and frustration. Look, I'm not taking you home, but here's some money. He handed her enough cash to last a week in Japan. Use this to find a hotel or an internet cafe for tonight. Seiu's eyes widened. Are you sure? I don't want to take your money for nothing. I could help you with house chores or something. Satria shook his head. Sorry, but I'd rather not end up in trouble with my wife or anyone else. You're young, and you've got value beyond this situation. Start acting like it, all right. Before she could respond, Satria's form blurred with a gust of wind. In an instant, he had transported her near a nearby hotel with his super speed, leaving her standing there alone. Wait! Seu called out, spinning around. Where did you? But Satria was gone, leaving nothing but the memory of his words and the crisp night air. Seu clutched the money tightly, her heart a mix of gratitude and bewilderment. Who was that guy? She murmured, her gaze lingering on the empty street. Satria leaned against a bench in the dimly lit park, the glow of his cigarette faintly illuminating his face. He exhaled a thin plume of smoke, his senses on high alert. He had noticed someone trailing him ever since he met Seiyu on the road. With a smirk, he pulled out the odd-looking fruit he had recently acquired. It was grotesque, its surface covered in swirling patterns, and it emitted an otherworldly aura. "Time to test this thing out," he muttered, taking a bite. "Ew, disgusting," he grimaced, swallowing the bitter morsel. Feeling the surge of energy coursing through him, he extended his hand. Room. A shimmering blue sphere expanded around him, encompassing the park. Satria focused on a nearby stone, lifting it with ease. Shambles. In an instant, the stone was replaced with the person who had been following him. A young woman appeared before him, landing gracefully within the sphere. She wore a gothic black dress, her twin-tailed hair swaying slightly. Her crimson eyes glowed faintly, though one was obscured by her bangs. "Aira, once again, you surprise me, Satria-kun," she said with a sly smile, brushing a strand of hair aside. Satria raised an eyebrow, unamused. "Kurumi. What do you want? Why are you in my world?" Kurumi giggled, her voice laced with teasing malice. "To meet you, of course. Have you forgotten your promise to help me?" Satria pinched the bridge of his nose, trying to recall. "Oh yeah, I remember now. You wanted to use your powers without draining your boyfriend. What was his name again?" "Shoma Ikusuka." Kurumi's expression darkened. "It's Shidou Itsuka, and he's not my boyfriend," she snapped, though her reddening cheeks betrayed her flustered state. Satria tilted his head, exhaling smoke from his cigarette. "Shidou will be disappointed to hear that. I thought you were part of his harem." His voice carried genuine confusion. Kurumi huffed, crossing her arms. "I am not part of his harem. My clone may harbor feelings for him, but I certainly don't," she insisted, though her tone faltered slightly. "Can we focus on my problem instead of this nonsense?" Satria smirked, flicking ash from his cigarette. All right. You want to travel back in time to change the future, right? Do you have any idea what kind of consequences you're playing with?" Kurumi's playful expression darkened, her tone filled with fury. "It doesn't matter. I'll kill that woman, no matter the cost, and prevent all spirits from ever existing in my world." Satria narrowed his eyes, crossing his arms. "Are you absolutely sure about that? Are you strong enough to pull it off? And more importantly, are you certain your will is truly yours and not something she's orchestrated?" Kurumi's confident facade cracked. She hesitated, her mind racing as Satria's words struck a nerve. Played by her scheme. "No. My will is my own. I'm not some doll she can manipulate," she thought, her fists clenching. Satria caught her reaction and sighed, flicking the cigarette away. "Your expression says it all. You don't like hearing the truth, do you? Even if you succeed in traveling back, you'll only create another timeline. There's no guarantee you'll win against her, and there's no guarantee you'll fix anything. Let me tell you a story." Kurumi raised an eyebrow but stayed silent, curious. "There was once a guy who had the ability you want. He went back to save his mother from dying. And guess what?" Satria leaned forward, staring directly into her eyes. Kurumi shook her head. "What happened?" "He saved her, but in doing so, he made the world far worse than before. The timeline where his mother lived? Destroyed. Everyone else? Worse off than they'd ever been. That's what happens when you mess with time." Kurumi's hands trembled slightly, her determination wavering. Satria's words cut deep, planting seeds of doubt. "I know you're not a bad person, Kurumi," Satria said, his tone softer. "But your trauma is driving you to act like the lunatic. You're letting it control you." Kurumi's lips tightened, her voice trembling with anger and sorrow. "Then, what should I do? How can I just let it go? That selfish bitch destroyed everything. Because of her, my friend Sawa is dead. Her wrath spilled over, tears forming in her eyes. Satria frowned and, without warning, lightly chopped her head with his hand. Ow! That hurt, Satria-kun. Kurumi protested, rubbing her head. Calm down, Satria said, his voice firm but not unkind. Didn't I tell you already? Your friend is still alive. Not in your world, but she's out there. Kurumi's eyes widened in shock. What? Are you serious? Where is she now? Satria scratched his chin, feigning deep thought. Where did I put that information? Fatalis, help me out here, he called out, clearly in a state of mild panic. Good grief, you're such a mess sometimes, Fatalis replied, but her voice was tinged with amusement. All right, hold on. After a brief pause, she sent him the data he needed. Satria's eyes lit up. Ah, I remember now. The keywords are neighboring world and White Queen, he exclaimed. Kurumi, still unsure, raised an eyebrow. What are these neighboring world and White Queen? I don't get it. Satria smirked. That's a story for another time, when I'm in the mood. For now, do your best to motivate me to help you, Emo Queen. He teased, adding a light-hearted edge to the conversation. Kurumi's playful grin stretched wider. So, is that a challenge to conquer you and make you mine, Satria-kun? You're much more fun and interesting than him, now that I think about it. She inched closer, her tone teasing and flirty. Satria blinked, taken aback by her sudden approach. Hey? Conquer me? How did we go from time travel to that? Look, if you want me, you should talk to her first. I really don't want to die young. Kurumi paused, clearly intrigued. So? It's true you have a girlfriend? Satria sighed dramatically. Yeah, I have 3 girlfriends. Sorry to disappoint you. He gave her a pointed look. And if you're thinking of joining the club, you'd better reconsider. This kind of relationship isn't for everyone. Kurumi looked deep in thought, her gaze flicking between Satria and the ground. 3 girlfriends, she pondered. He's unfaithful. But, a man this strong, who's clearly scared of his girlfriends. That's strangely cute. I want to test something, Kurumi said, her voice low and teasing. Hey? Test what? Satria raised an eyebrow, intrigued but cautious. Kurumi reached up, gently stroking her finger under his chin, watching the effect it had on him. Do you like that, Satria-kun? She asked, her voice playful. Satria's eyes fluttered for a moment, caught off guard by the sensation. Yep, that's the spot, he muttered in contentment before snapping back to his senses. What are you doing to me? Don't touch me, damn you! He quickly swatted her hand away. Internally, Kurumi smiled to herself. How precious! He's enjoying this way too much. I'll have to poke fun at him more. No need to be embarrassed, Satria-kun, Kurumi purred, leaning closer. I just wanted to test something. Unless... She whispered seductively in his ear. You beg me for more of it. Satria recoiled at her words, his pride flaring. Beg? I never beg. My name is Satria the Honored One. I never show weakness, especially not to you, evil spirit, he declared dramatically. 10 minutes later. Kurumi gently patted his head, a mischievous grin on her face. There. Who's the good boy now? Hee hee. Yes, love me more, Satria purred in satisfaction, his eyes half closed in bliss, until he noticed she'd stopped. Why did you stop? He asked, his voice soft and needy. Kurumi leaned in closer, her eyes glinting with mischief. You need to ask me first, my dear puppy. Go on. Satria hesitated, his cheeks turning a shade of pink. I want you to, do it again, he mumbled, hiding his face behind his hand, embarrassed. Kurumi let out a soft chuckle. Stupid Satria, honored one, my ass. Fatalis' exasperated voice echoed from his mind. Kurumi, however, was not fazed. She pressed him even further, wrapping her arms around him, pulling him close. Too cute, she cooed. I want to kidnap you and make you mine, Satria-kun. She caressed his cheek softly, her forehead resting against his. How about it? Don't worry. I promise to take care of everything you need. Be mine and forget about the others. Satria, now fully aware of where this was going, pushed her away, his tone serious. Don't get carried away, lady. I already promised to never leave my girls, no matter what. Sorry, but I must refuse. His voice was firm, though a slight blush still lingered on his cheeks. Kurumi didn't seem upset by his rejection. Instead, she looked pleased, as if he had passed some sort of unspoken test. Good boy, she purred, standing up. She leaned down and kissed his forehead gently. You pass my test. Pass? What do you mean by that? Satria furrowed his brows, still trying to understand Kurumi's cryptic words. Kurumi's eyes glinted darkly as she stepped closer. You see, I hate betrayers like that woman. But you? You're loyal to the ones you love. If you accepted my offer and left them, I might even consider eating you right now. Her shadow stretched beneath him, the ground beneath his feet beginning to darken ominously. Satria smirked, unfazed. Humph. Something like that can't kill me, stupid girl. Kurumi's lips curled into a wicked smile. Then let's see how you handle me. A red pentagram flared to life in her hand, the air around her crackling with dark energy. Her form twisted, transforming into something darker, a chaotic presence swirling as if she was both part of and the embodiment of the shadows. Kurumi transforms into a more sinister form, with dark, shadowy tendrils curling around her. Interesting, Satria murmured, a grin spreading across his face. I want to test something too. He raised his hand in a quick motion, making a finger gun gesture. Shigan, rain of bullet. With speed and precision, he fired multiple piercing strikes at Kurumi. However, instead of seeing damage, Kurumi's body seemed to absorb the bullets, her form regenerating instantly. The shadows around her churned, and multiple black hound heads emerged, snapping at the air like ravenous beasts. That was a little rude, Satria-kun, Kurumi's voice dripped with sadistic amusement. Do you understand now? A fragile lady like me should be treated gently. Satria raised an eyebrow, unfazed by her teasing. For you? No. By the way, what is this power you've gotten from the chat group? Have you become a vampire or something? His curiosity piqued, he studied her dark transformation closely. Why don't you come closer and find out for yourself, my darling? Kurumi smirked, her revolver reappearing in her hand. Without hesitation, she fired a bullet directly at him. Dark platinum. Satria's stand materialized instantly, raising a hand to block the incoming shot, but to his surprise, the bullet tore through the stand's defense and struck him. Fufu Kurumi's voice was laced with amusement. I don't know what that invisible thing is that tried to block my bullet, but it was useless. My attacks can penetrate any defense, my darling. Satria grinned through the pain, his hand glowing with a healing light as the wound began to close. My apologies for underestimating you, emo girl. He straightened up, ready for round 2. Let's continue, shall we? I want to see just how fast your regeneration can keep up with my attacks. With that, he vanished from her sight, disappearing in a blur of motion. Where is he? I can't detect his presence, Kurumi muttered to herself, searching the area in vain. Suddenly, black arrows pierced her body from every direction, exploding on impact. The weakness of someone with regeneration powers like yours is overconfidence, Satria's voice echoed from somewhere, deliberately cold and calculated. You think nothing can harm you. But I've already planned your downfall. Seal you, bury you alive, throw you into outer space. There are fates worse than death, and I know exactly how to deliver them. Kurumi gritted her teeth, standing up once more, her body healing rapidly. She dashed away, using her shadow to escape, eventually hiding in an abandoned building. What a terrifying man, she thought, her mind racing. I'm in a bad spot now. I should create a clone too. Before she could finish the thought, Satria's voice whispered from behind her, sharp and menacing. What you were about to say is, you want to create a clone to buy time. Am I right, beautiful? Kurumi whipped around, her eyes widening in shock. How could he have found me so easily? Satria stepped forward, his form vibrating with an unnerving intensity. In his hand, a green string connected to her body, the other end ready to crush her heart from within. The moment you let me land a hit, I marked you with my magical strings, Satria said with a smirk. This is the result, emo girl. Kurumi's hands shot up in surrender. You've amazed me, Satria-kun, she admitted, a mix of admiration and frustration in her voice. Now that you've found and defeated me, what do you want to do with me? Satria's gaze softened slightly but remained serious. Go home, he said firmly. It's already night. It's no place for a girl like you to be wandering around. But... Kurumi pouted, her tone turning playful. The last train's already gone, Satria-kun. Are you the type of man who would abandon a helpless girl like me out here in the cold night? Satria's patience thinned as he heard the sarcasm dripping from her words. His expression twisted in annoyance. Blah, blah, fine, he grumbled, rolling his eyes. I'll play your game. What do you want, emo girl? A sly smile crossed Kurumi's face as she stepped closer, her voice sweet yet dangerous. How about you let me stay at your place, darling? To be continued. Chapter 71, Chapter 59. The Spirit Bond. Kiyohime and Valyana glared daggers at Satria, their gazes demanding an explanation. Ara so, you're the one Satria-kun fears so much. Kurumi Tokisaki chimed in with a mischievous smile, her crimson and golden eyes gleaming with amusement. My name is Kurumi Tokisaki, one of his friends from the dimensional chat. And let me make one thing clear, I'm very interested in this puppy. She grabbed onto Satria's arm possessively. He told me to ask your permission before we take things further. Don't call me that nickname. Satria groaned, his face flushing red. And I never said that. Stop getting close to me, we're not a thing. His desperate attempt to wiggle free only added fuel to the fire. Valyana's sharp gaze narrowed as she sniffed the air. What are you? You smell strange. Are you some kind of mixed breed vampire? She asked, her curiosity tinged with suspicion. Clearly, this woman was not from their world. Kurumi chuckled lightly. Oh, Valyana-san, I'm a half vampire and half spirit. But my original race is spirit. I got this vampire blood from a reward in the dimensional chat. Does that satisfy your curiosity? She said, her tone both playful and confident. Spirit? You mean like the celestial spirits of Gaia, the Earth Mother? Hidden beings who live in peace and harmony. Albion's voice rumbled, intrigued. Despite his interest, something about Kurumi set him on edge. The faint scent of blood lingered around her. Satria waves his hand. Not quite. The spirits in her world are extraordinary beings from another dimension. Their presence in her world, whether intentional or accidental, causes space quakes. Think of them as devastating explosions that destroy everything within their radius. Each spirit is unique in personality, power, and perspective. I see. Albion mused. Valyana smirked, crossing her arms. You strong, then? I don't accept weaklings joining my hubby's family. So, fight me first, Kurumi. Before Kurumi could respond, Valyana's cheeks were swiftly pinched by Kiyohime. Ow, ow, ow. Kiyohime-san, stop. It hurts. Valyana whined, squirming under the grip. Kurumi raised a brow, her expression amused. Is she always like this? Pretty much, Satria deadpanned. Valyana's a battle maniac and kind of edgy, but deep down, she's just a spoiled girl. Valyana puffed her cheeks in indignation, but Kiyohime's stern gaze kept her quiet. No fighting inside the house, Kiyohime declared firmly before turning to Kurumi. Now then, what makes you so interested in my husband? Husband? Wow! I didn't expect that, Kurumi remarked, tilting her head in surprise. She turned toward Satria and tapped her chin, deep in thought. What makes me interested in him, you ask? She paused, then began listing her reasons with a playful yet serious tone. He's not boring, which is rare these days. He's someone who can help me fulfill my wish. He's got self-confidence, though sometimes it borders on narcissism. He loves and cares for his family, is financially secure, and, most importantly, she leaned closer with a mischievous smile. He's handsome and absolutely adorable, just like a puppy. Adorable your head. Don't call me a puppy. Satria snapped, his face burning with embarrassment. Danasama, behave, Kiyohime chided, her gaze sharp and unyielding. Sorry, Satria grumbled, crossing his arms as he sulked. Kurumi chuckled softly and reached out to pat his head. Don't be too harsh on him, Kiyohime-san. Satria's a good boy, aren't you? Her tone was teasing but gentle. Satria sighed in defeat, nodding begrudgingly. See? He even listens to me, Kurumi said smugly before turning to Kiyohime and Valyana. Besides, I'll be a great ally to this family. My abilities include manipulating time, creating clones to spy on enemies, and vampiric powers that make me nearly immortal. And if that's not enough, I'm excellent at housework. Thanks to my clones, managing a house this big is as easy as snapping my fingers. Valyana's eyes sparkled. That's amazing. Kiyohime-san, think about it. She'd be such a great help to our family. Kiyohime sighed, crossing her arms as she considered Kurumi's words. You make a compelling case. Very well, I accept you. But understand this: you must prioritize our family above all else and remain free of any outside influence. Do you agree to these terms? Kurumi smiled warmly and bowed respectfully to Kiyohime and Valyana. Don't worry. I was a villain in my home world. No one has ever put a leash on me, and no one ever will. From now on, I'll be in your care, senpai. Kiyohime nodded approvingly, while Valyana clapped excitedly. Satria, however, could only sigh in exasperation, muttering under his breath. Why is every girl around me not normal? Morning sunlight barely filtered through the underground workshop where Satria, Kiyohime, Valyana, and Kurumi gathered. The air was thick with the hum of machinery and the faint scent of oil and metal. The workshop was a testament to Satria's ingenuity, a fusion of modern technology and mystical artifacts, all tucked beneath the home he had built for his unconventional family. Kiyohime's worried gaze rested on Kurumi, who leaned casually against a table. Danasama, tell me, what's wrong with her? Satria sighed, setting down a strange, glowing tool. He gestured for them to gather closer. It's about her ability, he began. Each time Kurumi uses it, she's forced to sacrifice a part of her lifespan. It's the cost of wielding such power. But... His expression turned determined. I'm working on a way to change that. Kurumi raised an eyebrow, her usual playful demeanor replaced with genuine curiosity. And you really think you can fix it? It's not exactly an everyday problem, you know. Satria smirked, cracking his knuckles confidently. Trust me, girl, I got this. With a flourish, Satria began his work. Drawing on the combined powers of Ultraman Cosmos and the Op no Mi, he created a spectacle none of them had ever seen before. Light flared to life in the workshop, radiant and pure, as if a star had been born in the confined space. Floating projections of molecular structures and glowing sigils danced in the air, their intricate patterns shifting under Satria's precise control. The Op no Mi granted him unparalleled skill in manipulating matter and life, while the power of Ultraman Cosmos infused the procedure with soothing, harmonious energy. Valyuna and Kiyohime could only watch in awe, their breath catching at the sight. This wasn't just magic or science, it was something beyond their comprehension. It's otherworldly, Kiyohime murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. Valyuna nodded, her usual boldness tempered by the sheer magnificence of the display. I've seen powerful beings and miraculous techniques, but this is on a whole different level. Kurumi, for her part, remained silent, her heterochromatic eyes fixed on Satria. For the first time, her confidence wavered, replaced by a flicker of hope. Satria's hands moved with precision, channeling both powers as he worked to rewrite the rules of Kurumi's existence. Done, he finally declared, stepping back with a triumphant grin. Kurumi blinked, staring at her hands, then back at Satria. That's it? Just like that? Satria shrugged nonchalantly. What can I say? I'm just that good. Kiyohime and Valyuna, still processing what they had witnessed, shared a glance before Kiyohime spoke. You truly are full of surprises, my husband. Kurumi smirked, her playful edge returning. Well, I guess I owe you one, puppy. But don't let it get to your head. Satria rolled his eyes, rubbing the back of his neck. Why does everyone have to ruin my moment? After successfully solving Kurumi's problem, Satria fed his pet lovebird, watching it nibble happily on the seeds he'd provided. The soft chirps of the bird filled the air, a calming contrast to the earlier intensity. Kurumi, ever the curious one, peeked over at him. Satria noticed her gaze immediately, raising an eyebrow. What? You're not heading back to your world? Satria asked, a hint of playful suspicion in his voice. Kurumi pouted dramatically, a mischievous glint in her eyes. She snuggled closer to him, her cheek resting against his arm. Do you really think I'd just leave after everything we talked about yesterday? Satria blinked, slightly confused. What are you talking about? You and me being all involved. That's what I'm talking about, you dummy. Kurumi huffed, puffing her cheeks in mock anger. And don't you forget about the conversation we had with both of your wives, either. Satria scratched his head, a chuckle escaping him. Hey? You're serious about that? What about your boyfriend back in your world? At the mention of her supposed boyfriend, Kurumi's face twisted in adorable frustration. He's not my boyfriend, she exclaimed, her voice a mix of irritation and embarrassment. After everything you've done to me. Satria burst into laughter, shaking his head. Why are you so dramatic, emo girl? He relaxed back in his seat. Look, just consider it a gesture of generosity on my part. Which girl wants to be in a polygamous relationship, hey? You should think about it carefully. Before he could finish, Kurumi silenced him with a swift, bold kiss on his lips, leaving Satria momentarily speechless. Kurumi smirked, her eyes playful yet serious. I'm not waiting around for you to finish your thoughts, puppy. Satria blinked, his mind racing to process what had just happened. Wait, you. Kurumi winked and leaned back, clearly pleased with herself. I guess I'll stick around, for now. Don't make me regret it. The lovebird chirped as if approving, and the atmosphere lightened as Satria processed the whirlwind of events. Family Restaurant, Kyoto, Japan. Satria, Kiyohime, Valyuna, and Kurumi sat around a large table at their favorite family restaurant. The atmosphere was lively, with the warm glow of the lamps above and the faint chatter of other customers in the background. Sometimes it's nice to eat together outside, isn't it? Satria remarked, taking a sip of his drink. He leaned back in his chair, enjoying the rare moment of peace. Yup, go ahead and order whatever you like, my love. Valyana declared with a bright grin. This is a celebration for Kurumi officially joining our family. Kurumi blushed lightly and kissed Satria on the cheek, her soft lips lingering for just a moment longer than necessary. Thank you, everyone, for accepting me as part of your family, she said, her voice filled with gratitude. Inside Satria's mind, Fatalis whistled in approval. Way to go, my boy. You're making this big sister proud. Kiyohime pouted, her arms crossed as she shot a teasing glare at Kurumi. Not fair. I should be the one sitting beside Danasama. Satria chuckled, glancing at Kiyohime. You're always welcome to sit wherever you like, dear. He smiled at the warmth of the moment but then turned to the new members of family with a more serious expression. Where will you stay from now on, Kurumi? I'd like to stay with you, but I have some things to take care of first in my world. She replied to him. Satria nodded. Of course, I can arrange a private room for you in the house, but only if that's what you want. Just as they were settling into their meal, the familiar ping of the dimensional chat rang out, signaling a new mission. Satria frowned slightly as he opened the message. Another mission? Kurumi asked, noticing the change in his demeanor. What are you going to do, darling? Satria's expression hardened. If I join this mission, something bad will happen to Uchiha Itachi. His voice was icy, and the others could feel the weight of his words. The group fell silent, sensing the intensity in Satria's tone. What happened between you and this Itachi? Valyana asked, her curiosity piqued. She had never heard Satria speak like this before, especially about someone from another world. Satria's eyes darkened as he leaned back in his chair. He betrayed his own clan for the sake of his country when there was clearly another way to solve the problem. I don't have a personal issue with him, but I hate people like that. He shook his head, a deep anger brewing beneath his calm exterior. People call him a genius, but to me, he's just a coward. Kiyohime's gaze softened as she noticed the rare glimpse of this side of Satria. She rarely saw him this agitated, and it reminded her of the immense power he wielded. What kind of betrayal are we talking about? She asked, her voice gentle. Satria's eyes narrowed, his jaw clenched as he spoke. Itachi killed his entire clan to prevent a coup against the village, sparing only his younger brother, Suzuki. He thought that was the only way to preserve peace. But in the end, it was a cowardly decision, a betrayal of his own people and family. Kurumi's thoughts turned inward, a somber expression on her face as she reflected on Satria's words. So, there are others out there who have fates worse than mine, she thought to herself. She couldn't help but feel a sense of kinship with Itachi's brother. Before she met Satria, she too had been a victim of her circumstances, feeling lost and broken. Finally, I found you! Zenobia shouted, her eyes locked onto Satria. Where is my Excalibur? Sanaspan, Saji, quickly grabbed her arm, pulling her back slightly. Zenobia, stop! We're in public. The small commotion caught the attention of those around the table as 2 exorcists and 3 devils approached Satria's group. Issei blinked in confusion as he saw Satria, Kiyohime, and the other women. Shin-san and Kiyohime-san. What are you doing here? And who are they? Sanaspan, Saji, studied Satria with interest, his gaze lingering on the table's occupants. So this is the popular Shin, the Ice Prince of Kuaho, he remarked, his tone full of curiosity. Era Ice Prince, hey! Kurumi chuckled softly, leaning her head on Satria's shoulder. Unexpected title for someone like him, don't you think? Her voice carried a teasing edge as she flashed a playful smile at Satria. Satria, though usually calm, couldn't help but let out a small sigh. Not really the title I'd pick for myself. Konako, who had quietly entered the scene, looked at Satria and noticed the way Kurumi was leaning into him. Her heart tightened, a tinge of jealousy flashing in her eyes. "Senpai!" she murmured softly, but her voice was filled with unease. "Yo, Issei, Konako, Blue Ranger, Orange Ranger, and..." Satria scanned the others with a curious glance. "Who are you?" Saji straightened up, his expression smug as he spoke. "My name is Saji, remember that?" Zenovia huffed, clearly not impressed with the lack of attention. "Don't call me Blue Ranger. My name is Zenovia Quarta, and I demand you return my weapon." Irina, standing beside Zenovia, crossed her arms with a confident smirk. "And I'm Irina Shidou, the Orange Ranger. Give us back what's ours." Satria smirked back at them, the playful banter in the air easing his usual reserved demeanor. "Ha ha ha, what a ridiculous duo," he said, shaking his head. "If you need your sword that badly, go search for it on Xbay. My account's Gakorkong. You can place a bid there." The exorcists blinked in confusion, not understanding. Zenovia's brows furrowed. "Xbay? What is that?" Satria's grin widened. "You know, Xbay, the online auction site. You should try it out sometime. Good luck finding your precious Excalibur." Saji quickly pulled out his phone, tapping furiously as he searched for the auction listing. His eyes widened as the price for Excalibur soared to $250 million. "You're seriously selling holy weapons online? Are you out of your mind?" Saji exclaimed, his tone a mix of disbelief and anger. Satria, not in the slightest bit fazed, smirked and casually adjusted his sunglasses, making sure to look as cool as possible. "Not crazy, just smart. A man's gotta feed his family, you know? Something a brat like you will never understand," he said, wrapping his arm around Kurumi's shoulders and planting a kiss on her cheek. Kurumi flushed bright red at the gesture, embarrassed but touched. "Darling, don't do that in front of others, you're making me embarrassed." It was the first time he'd done something like that, and she wasn't quite sure how to handle it. Saji and Issei watched the scene, both feel jealous of him. Zenovia, her fists clenched, glared at Satria, furious beyond measure. "You, seriously sell weapons of God on the internet? There's a limit to how much you can disrespect God." Satria shrugged nonchalantly, still grinning. "I don't care. You want your weapon? Bring me the money, and I'll hand it over to you right now." Issei, clearly uncomfortable with the situation, looked at his friend. "Who's the top bidder, Saji?" Saji, still staring at his phone, muttered the names under his breath. "The current bidders are Arthur, Azl, Magical Girl, Mark, and the Great Kokabile." Issei's eyes widened in shock. "K. Kokabile? Seriously?" He turned to Satria with a pleading look. "Shin-san, isn't there any other way?" Satria removed his sunglasses with an exaggerated sigh, wiping a fake tear from his eye. "Sigh. You leave me no choice. Since you're so eager to bring justice to Kokabile, I'll just sell it to the highest bidder." Wahahaha. The exorcists stared at him with desperate, hopeless expressions. They knew there was no way they could force Satria to give up the weapon. He was too powerful for any of them to even think about challenging. Meanwhile, the four women who had become enamored with Satria simply watched, their faces deadpan as they observed his antics. Zenovia's eyes narrowed with growing frustration. "You heretic! The church will mark you as an enemy. Are you really okay with that?" she threatened, her voice filled with outrage. Satria raised an eyebrow, not in the slightest bit intimidated. "I can say the same thing to you, taper. And does my face look like I care?" He grinned widely, knowing full well it would only enrage Zenovia further. "Long time no see, Albion." "Yes, you too, Drake. Is that pervert brat your bearer now?" Albion's voice carried a hint of amusement as he looked at the dragon perched on Issei's arm. Yes, you can't imagine my suffering, Drake sighed dramatically. This brat thinks about Oppai every minute of every day. That's a relief. Albion smirked. My bearer always thinks about more extreme things. What do you mean by worse than this pervert? Valyana snapped, her face flushed with indignation. Take that back, Albion. Is this beautiful girl my rival? How can I defeat her? Issei looked at Valyana, his face a mixture of admiration and embarrassment. I can't bring myself to hurt such a gorgeous girl. Konako, who had been silently observing the exchange, tilted her head and asked curiously, what's your relationship with Shin, White Dragon Empress? Valyana merely shrugged, her gaze uninterested. Who knows, she replied, her tone dismissive. She's so weak. Why does hubby bother with this girl? Valyana couldn't help but think. Konako's eyes narrowed as she sensed Valyana's lack of respect for her. The pressure of the conversation weighed on her as she realized how out of her depth she was in the presence of these powerful women. I've had enough of this, Kiyohime suddenly spoke, her voice cold and threatening. A dark aura began to radiate from her, making the air heavy and tense. Can you all leave us now? You've disturbed our family time and dared to threaten my Dana-sama. Do you really want to die that badly? Her aura flared, but Satria quickly acted to calm the situation with a reassuring presence. Konako, overwhelmed by the sheer strength of the group, felt a sense of inadequacy wash over her. How can I possibly compete with them, she thought, her shoulders slumping slightly. Oh, my Kurumi's voice broke through the tension, her playful tone easing the atmosphere. I suggest you all leave now, or Kiyohime-san is going to do something you won't like. She gave a teasing look, warning them with a smile. Partner, get out of here now. She's serious. Drake added in his booming voice, giving a little nudge to Issei. Yeah, goodbye, Shin-san, Issei muttered, his face a bit pale from the sheer intensity of Kiyohime's aura. The group, now thoroughly outmatched, quickly turned to leave, heading to a nearby table to settle down. The tension finally began to subside as they moved away from Satria and his group. As Konako started to sit, she felt something small in her pocket. Pulling it out, she found a piece of candy wrapped neatly in paper. On it was a small note with a quote. I am sorry. She turned it over and found another note. Do you love me? Konako paused, her heart fluttering. Another note. Please say yes. I love you. She looked up, and Satria gave her a subtle wink from across the table, his expression soft but meaningful. The sweetness of his gesture made her feel warm inside. Baka, senpai, she muttered softly, a blush creeping across her cheeks as her heart swelled with affection. Tonight, Satria found himself alone in his bed. It was unusual for Kiyohime and Valyana to not join him. By now he was used to the warmth of their presence beside him every night. But tonight, the bed felt unusually empty. Suddenly, the door creaked open, and in stepped Kurumi, dressed in nothing but lingerie, her eyes glinting with mischief as she sauntered toward him. Without a word, she climbed onto the bed and snuggled up to him, pressing her body against his. Satria's eyes widened in surprise. What? He blinked rapidly, trying to process the sudden change. Isn't this a bit too fast? Calm down, girl. Satria felt a mixture of surprise and uncertainty, but Kurumi's boldness left little room for hesitation. He could feel the heat of the moment building, yet a part of him remained guarded, unsure of how to react to her sudden shift in intimacy. Kurumi smirked, her gaze full of playful confidence. No need to be shy, Satria-kun. This is the perfect time to deepen our relationship, don't you think? She shifted closer, her breath warm against his skin. Do my panties suit me, darling? Yes. You can see it by yourself. You're so energetic, I must punish this. Kurumi stepped on his dick gently. Damn, you're good. Who? It's really become bigger and I heard you like boobies. How about this? She put his dick between her boobs while licking it. Kurumi. If you continue this. White fluid showers her face and mouth. Ara, after everything you are still hard then. I must play it leisurely with it. Get a ready darling, I'm not gonna let you sleep tonight. Brave word for virgin, let me show you what I made, emo girl. Satria licking her vaginas. Nay, not that place. It's ready. Then. It's entered. Your inside is so soft and good, Kurumi, I can't hold back myself. Wait. Please don't do it so roughly, do it more gently. Your cock is so hot. Satria smirked. Oh. I thought you wanted to prove me something. Kurumi blushing. It's my first time. I want cum. Me too. Let's do it together. Kurumi's eyes went wide with panic as realization dawned. Wait, Satria-kun. Please, not inside. I'm not protected, we can't risk. But Satria was beyond reason, lost in the throes of passion. He groaned deeply, tightening his grip on her hips. It's too late, Kurumi. You feel too good, I can't hold back anymore. Kurumi whimpered, conflicting emotions warring within her. Part of her wanted to push him away, to insist on being safe. But another part, a primal, instinctive part, craved the forbidden act. Her body betrayed her, inner walls clenching around him as if trying to draw him deeper. Satria, please. She whispered, but her pleas fell on deaf ears as he reached his climax. Cummings. They Cummings together and Satria falls to Kurumi chest. He sucked her boobs like baby and her chest heaved as she caught her breath, her body still tingling from their shared climax. She felt Satria's weight settle onto her, his head resting against her bosom. A mix of emotions swirled within her, satisfaction, worry, and a hint of annoyance at his recklessness. You stupid puppy, she murmured, her fingers absent-mindedly threading through his hair. If something goes wrong because of this, you'd better take responsibility, okay? Satria lifted his head, a mischievous glint in his eyes. Don't worry, I'll take full responsibility, he assured her, his voice husky. In fact, why don't we practice that responsibility right now? His lips found her breast, latching on with unexpected fervor. Kurumi gasped, torn between pushing him away and pulling him closer. Wait, already? Shouldn't we rest first? You think you can satisfy me alone? CK. Coming to me alone is a mistake from the beginning. Prepare for a lesson. But Satria was already positioning himself for another round, his stamina seemingly endless. Kurumi's protests died on her lips as a new wave of desire washed over her. She realized, with a mix of excitement and trepidation, that this was going to be a very long night indeed. Wait, what do you mean I can't satisfy you alone? She stammered, her earlier bravado crumbling under his intense gaze. I thought I was doing well. Satria's smirk deepened, a predatory glint in his eyes. He leaned in close, his breath hot against her ear. Oh, you were doing very well for a beginner, my love. Without warning, he flipped her onto her stomach, eliciting a surprised yelp from Kurumi. His strong hands gripped her hips, pulling her ass up and positioning her on her knees. Kurumi's face burned with embarrassment and arousal as she felt utterly exposed. Satria-kun, what are you Her question was cut off by a sharp gasp as she felt his tongue trace along her sensitive folds, still slick from their previous activities. Her thighs trembled as he explored her most intimate areas with expert precision. Now, the real fun begins. To be continued. Chapter 72, Side Story, The Silent Redemption. Kanahagakur. Welcome to Konoha, both of you, Jiraiya greeted with his signature grin as he led the two group chat members into the village. Esdeath and Robin stepped in, taking in the surroundings. The streets bustled with life, a mix of ninja training and everyday commerce blending seamlessly. This place, it's not what I imagined, Robin muttered, his voice tinged with surprise. I expected something darker, more militarized. Not this serene, almost idyllic Japanese town. Esdeath smirked, her gaze lingering on a nearby training ground. Back here again, hey? How's your student's progress, Jiraiya? The Toad Sage scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Naruto? He's in the process of completing the Raise Nan. He's still got a long way to go before he reaches the level of the Naruto from our group chat. Robin chuckled. Well, he's still young. No need to rush greatness. Esdeath's grin turned wicked. Enough about the kid. Let's talk about our enemies, shall we? I'm itching for a fight. Jiraiya's expression grew serious as he crossed his arms. We're up against two rogue ninjas, Uchiha Itaki and Kisame Hoshigaki. Itaki is a former ninja from my village, and his Sharingan eyes are incredibly dangerous. Whatever you do, don't make direct eye contact with him. He can trap you in a powerful illusion before you even realize it. And Kisame? Robin asked, leaning forward slightly. Kisame is from the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, Jiraiya continued. He's a monster in every sense of the word. His sword, same Heta, can absorb chakra energy. Be very careful when engaging him. Esdeath's eyes gleamed with excitement. A monster, you say? Perfect. I'll take him. The two of you can handle the other one. Jiraiya sighed, knowing there was no use arguing with her once she'd made up her mind. Fine. But don't underestimate him. As they continued strategizing, Robin suddenly paused, his eyes narrowing. He felt a strange sensation, like a voice whispering directly into his mind. Boy, the voice sneered. You think you're ready to wield me? Don't make me laugh. With your pathetic ideals, you'll never unlock my full potential. Robin clenched his fists, his voice trembling with anger. Shut up. I'm nothing like them. I'll never follow such path. The voice cackled mockingly. A hero, are we? Heroes are nothing but deluded fools. Tell me, how many lives have been lost because of the villains you chose to spare? How many innocents suffered because of your so-called principles? I said shut up. Robin barked, his voice echoing in the quiet street. Esdeath and Jiraiya exchanged glances but said nothing, sensing this was a battle Robin needed to face on his own. Focus, kid, Jiraiya finally said, his tone calm but firm. We've got a mission. Don't let your inner demons cloud your judgment. Robin took a deep breath, nodding slowly. Right. Let's finish this. The peace of the inn was shattered by the unmistakable sounds of battle erupting outside. They're already here. We must hurry. Jiraiya shouted, bolting toward the inn where Naruto was staying. Naruto stood frozen, unable to comprehend the scene before him. Two mysterious figures in black cloaks, adorned with red clouds, faced his best friend. Sasuke's entire body radiated pure rage. I will kill you! Sasuke screamed, his Sharingan blazing with fury. The young Uchiha lunged forward, his Chidori crackling with deadly intent. Yet, the man he aimed for, a cold, calculating figure with dark eyes, caught the attack effortlessly, as if it were child's play. Naruto's jaw dropped. No way! Sasuke's Chidori didn't even faze him. The man twisted Sasuke's wrist cruelly, and a sickening crack filled the air as Sasuke howled in pain. You're just a nuisance, the man said flatly, tossing Sasuke like a rag doll into the wall. Sasuke! Naruto shouted, his anger flaring as he reached for the Kyuubi's power. But before he could unleash it, the shark-like man beside the first figure swung his massive sword, same Heta, toward him. The strange weapon pulsed as it drained Naruto's chakra, leaving him weakened and gasping for breath. "My sword eats chakra," Kisame said with a toothy grin. "So why don't we trim this brat down a bit? How about I take one of his legs? That should keep him from running off." Itaka gave a subtle nod, granting his partner permission. Kisame raised his sword, ready to strike, but before the blade could descend, it met a powerful force that stopped it dead in its tracks. "I'll be your opponent," a commanding voice declared. Naruto looked up to see a strikingly beautiful woman in a military uniform standing protectively in front of him. Her piercing blue eyes locked onto Kisame. "And who might you be?" Kisame asked, baring his teeth in excitement. "You're strong. I can feel it." "My name is Esdeath," she said, her lips curling into a cold smile. "And you, Kisame Hoshigaki, are about to experience what it means to fight to the death." Without waiting for a response, she delivered a devastating kick that sent Kisame flying out of the inn, crashing into the street outside. Meanwhile, Itaka scanned his surroundings and realized he was surrounded. The walls seemed to writhe unnaturally, forming a fleshy barrier that trapped him inside. "How unfortunate, Uchiha Itaka," Jiraiya said as he stepped into view. "We anticipated your plan to capture Naruto. I know about your past, Itaka. You still have a chance to redeem yourself if you surrender." Itaka's calm expression wavered for a brief moment as his mind raced. "How does he know about my past? Only the elders should know that. Did the Sandame reveal it to him?" When he turned, he saw a teenager wielding a strange, glowing sword standing behind him. Robin's gaze was steady, his presence cutting off any chance of escape. "Don't interfere with my revenge!" Sasuke screamed, staggering to his feet. Ignoring his injuries, he charged at Itaka once more. Itaka sighed and sidestepped easily, driving his fist into Sasuke's stomach. "You're too weak, little brother," he whispered coldly. "You lack hatred." Before Sasuke could respond, Itaka's Sharingan activated, trapping him in the endless torment of Tsukuyomi. A single tear rolled down Sasuke's cheek as he collapsed, unconscious. Itaka tossed Sasuke's limp body toward Jiraiya, his voice low and commanding. "Tell me how you know about my past." Robin stepped forward, answering before Jiraiya could. "We have our ways. But we're not here to destroy you, Itaka. We know about the impossible choice you were forced to make. We're offering you a way out, a way to atone." Itaka's eyes narrowed. "What do you know of my choice? My pain? No one could understand the burden I carry." Robin's grip on his sword tightened. "You think you're the only one who's faced an impossible choice? You chose your village over your family. I can't imagine the weight of that decision. But walking this path alone, choosing death over redemption, that's not the answer." Jiraiya nodded, stepping forward to support Robin's plea. "He's right. We can help you, Itaka. Your illness, your burdens, we have ways to ease them. But only if you are willing to listen." Naruto, still recovering, looked between Jiraiya and Itaka, confused and angry. "What are you doing, Aro Sennin? He hurt Sasuke. He's the bad guy. We should be kicking his ass." Jiraiya sighed and knocked Naruto out with a swift chop to the neck. "Sorry about that," he said, bowing apologetically to Itaka. Itaka looked between Jiraiya and Robin, his stoic facade showing faint cracks. For the first time in years, he hesitated. Could redemption truly be an option for someone like me? _____. Group chat conversation. Shin, look at you, dope. All angry because someone hit your boyfriend. God of hope, shut up, asshole. Just heal him, and I'll grant your wish. Shin, why are you so desperate to save this Itaka guy? Does he even deserve a second chance after what he did to his family? God of hope, yes. He was just a kid forced into an impossible situation. He sacrificed everything for the greater good of our village. I won't let someone like him live out a tragic life without trying to help. Shin, tch. You and your stupid ideology are beyond saving. Tell me, Naruto, what if it were your own children sacrificed for the so-called greater good? Would you be fine with that? God of Hope, and what would you do if that happened to you, Satria? Burn the whole country to ashes in revenge. Shin, damn right, I would. I'd let the entire nation crumble before I let anyone lay a hand on my family. God of Hope, that's madness. What about the innocent people living in that country? Shin, why should I care about strangers more than my own family? You'd risk your loved ones for people who mean nothing to you? That's what's truly insane. God of Hope, you're selfish and greedy. I'm done talking to you. Shin, screw you, idiot. Kuroniko, stop it, both of you. This argument is going nowhere. You're just making everything worse. Amelia, she's right. Instead of fighting like this, you should both reflect on your choices. Find a solution that benefits everyone, your family and the people depending on you. As for Itachi-kun, I feel bad for him. He was so young when he had to shoulder such a heavy burden. Let the past be the past. Not everyone is as strong or resourceful as you, Satria-kun. Cookies maniac, big sister Amelia is right. Hate won't solve anything. We should give him a chance to redeem himself because he's not a bad person at heart. Spider-Man, he reminds me of someone I know. Someone who sacrifices one for the sake of many. I'd rather not comment on this, though. King of Knights, as a king, I admire what Itachi has done. His dedication to his village is remarkable, and I'd gladly have him in my army. His patriotism is inspiring. Shin, great. You two sound perfect for each other. Evil spirit, self-sacrifice for strangers is a concept I've never understood. Kuroniko, Satria, what are you going to do? Will you help him? From what I see, Itachi acted for the sake of everyone around him. I hope you'll give him the chance to atone. Shin, let me think about it. Shin has logged out. God of Hope, thank you, Fran-chan, for helping convince him. Kuroniko, it's nothing, Naruto-san. Satria's a good guy deep down. He prioritizes his family above all else, but that doesn't mean he doesn't care about others. He just shows it differently. God of Hope, I know, but he's so extreme when it comes to protecting his family. It's infuriating sometimes. Evil spirit, Fufu. That's what makes him special, don't you think? Underscore. My fate is sealed, Jiraiya, Itachi said, his voice heavy with regret. I am one of those who do not deserve forgiveness or happiness. My sole purpose is to die by my brother's hand, activating his true power to protect Konoha. Jiraiya's expression darkened, and he crossed his arms. You really believe that, don't you? That your brother will protect the village after learning the truth? Itachi remained silent, his gaze fixed on the ground. Jiraiya sighed and leaned closer. Let me tell you something, Itachi. When Sasuke learns what you've done and why you think he'll protect Konoha out of gratitude. No. He'll be consumed by hatred. He'll seek retribution, not for you, but against this village. Your sacrifice will push him down a path of vengeance, not loyalty. Itachi's calm demeanor wavered for a moment, but he steadied himself. I've considered that possibility, he admitted. I've already laid plans to ensure he remains loyal to Konoha. Even if it means influencing him to think differently. Robin, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke. So, your solution is to brainwash him. His voice was sharp but not without empathy. Do you really think that's any better than what those old men forced you to do to your family? What's the difference between you and them if you take away your brother's free will? Itachi's expression tightened, but he said nothing. Robin took a step forward, his tone softening. There's another way, Itaki. A way to break this cycle of hatred without manipulation or sacrifice. You can reconcile with Sasuke. Tell him the truth yourself. Show him the person you are, not the villain he's been led to believe. Itaka looked at him, his dark eyes filled with doubt. And how do you propose I do that? Words alone won't erase the scars of what I've done. Robin nodded. You're right. But reconciliation isn't about erasing scars, it's about healing them together. It won't be easy, but you don't have to face this alone. We'll help you. Jiraiya folded his arms, his usual jovial demeanor replaced with seriousness. He's right, Itaki. The path you're on now will only end in more pain for both you and Sasuke. If you're willing to try, we'll figure out a way forward. Itaka hesitated, the weight of years of guilt and self-imposed exile pressing down on him. What do you have in mind? Robin smiled faintly. We'll take you to my friend's place. He has a way of finding solutions no one else can see. Let's talk this through and figure out how to fix this mess together. For the first time in years, Itaki allowed a glimmer of hope to seep into his thoughts. Very well, he said softly. I'll follow your lead. But know this: if this fails, I'll return to the path I've chosen. I can't risk the safety of the village. Deal, Robin said with confidence. Let's give your story a better ending, Itaki. The clash of steel echoed across the riverside, each strike reverberating like thunder. You're not bad! Kisame exclaimed, his shark-like grin widening. I could say the same about you. Esteth replied, her voice tinged with excitement. It's rare to meet a swordsman this strong. But tell me your name before I send you to the afterlife. Kisame chuckled darkly, hoisting his massive sword, Samehada, over his shoulder. The name's Kisame Hoshigaki. Remember it well, if you live long enough. Esteth smirked. Esteth. And you'll remember my name as the one who freezes your soul in the afterlife. Without warning, Kisame performed a series of hand seals. Water style, water prison jutsu. A massive sphere of water encased Esteth, trapping her inside. Kisame stepped back, confident in his technique. Let's see you squirm your way out of this. Inside the sphere, Esteth's eyes glinted with amusement. You think something like this can hold me? Flames burst from her body, so intense they evaporated the water prison instantly. Vengeance flame. Esteth summoned 4 blazing orbs of fire that orbited her like fiery sentinels. Kisame's grin widened. Impressive. But fire won't help you against me. Let me show you the power of the ocean. He performed another set of hand seals. Water style, 5 hungry sharks. From the river, 5 water sharks emerged, their translucent forms rippling with lethal intent as they surged toward Esteth. She chuckled, her confidence unshaken. You'll soon realize how foolish you are to challenge me with water. She hurled her fireballs at the sharks, the elements colliding with explosive force. Steam filled the air, obscuring the battlefield momentarily as the 2 attacks cancelled each other out. Your confidence is something to admire, Kisame said, his voice laced with amusement. But I haven't even shown you my true power. With a swift leap, he landed in the river and formed another series of hand seals. Water style, exploding water shockwave. A massive torrent of water erupted from Kisame's mouth, flooding the area with a tidal wave of devastating force. Esteth's eyes gleamed with exhilaration. Perfect! Instead of retreating, she stepped forward and touched the oncoming wave with her hand. Instantly, the water froze solid, transforming the rushing torrent into an icy sculpture. What? Kisame stared in disbelief. You're an ice-style user? That's impossible. I thought the Yuki clan was wiped out years ago. Esteth grinned, her breath forming frost in the air. Now you understand why I said your water techniques were useless against me. But you've shown me promise, Kisame Hoshigaki. Killing you would be such a waste. Kisame's eyes narrowed. A waste? What are you getting at? Esteth stepped closer, her presence radiating an overwhelming, almost suffocating aura. Let me make you an offer, Kisame. Pledge yourself to me. Follow me on the path of conquerors, and I'll show you a world beyond your wildest imagination. Her icy blue eyes glinted with a dangerous light, and the air around her grew colder, charged with power. The pressure she exuded was so intense that even Kisame, a man who had faced countless monstrosities, felt his instincts scream in warning. Kisame chuckled darkly, his shark-like grin widening. A new world, hey? Kukyaku, very interesting. But it's not so simple, Esteth. He hefted Same Hada onto his shoulder and tilted his head thoughtfully. My boss, you see, is revered as a god by his people. Double-crossing him isn't something I can take lightly. Unless... His grin widened. You show me you're someone who can defy even a god. Esteth's eyes sparkled with excitement, her bloodlust barely contained. A god, you say? How fascinating. If this so-called god is what's holding you back, then I'll test my power against him. Tell him I'll be coming for him. Let's see if he's worthy of his title. Kisame let out a low laugh. You're a terrifying woman, Esteth. But I like that. His sharp eyes darted toward the trilene as he sensed approaching chakra signatures. Looks like Konoha's little ninjas are closing in. I suppose it's time for me to leave. Esteth nodded, her smirk unwavering. Take your time to decide, Kisame. When you're ready to pledge yourself, speak with Jiraiya. He'll know how to find me. Kisame chuckled, impressed by her audacity. You've got guts, I'll give you that. I'll keep it in mind. Farewell, for now. With that, Kisame submerged into the river, his form vanishing beneath the surface like a shadow in the depths. _______. Mission complete. A notification appeared, breaking the tension. Special reward gifted for successfully persuading Uchiha Itachi to your side. 10,000 copyright will be shared among the participants. Robin, 4,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box plus 1 world travel ticket. Esteth, 3,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box. Pervert Sage, 3,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box. _________. Robin glanced at the notification, a small smile on his lips. Well, looks like we pulled it off. Jiraiya rubbed the back of his neck, a tired grin spreading across his face. Not bad at all. But something tells me this isn't the end of it. Esteth, still gazing at the river, let out a soft chuckle. Kisame may be strong, but this so-called god of his? That's where the real fun begins. Robin raised an eyebrow, his curiosity piqued. You really plan to take on a god? Esteth turned to face him, her icy gaze brimming with confidence. I don't just plan to. I will. And I'll show Kisame and everyone else that I'm the one they should follow. Jiraiya sighed, shaking his head. You're as dangerous as you are ambitious. Let's hope this doesn't come back to bite us later. As the group regrouped, the distant sound of rushing water faded, leaving behind an uneasy calm. Though the mission was complete, the ripples of their actions would soon spread far beyond Konoha. Side end. Chapter 73, Chapter 60. Spectre of War. Kurumi sat at the breakfast table, a pout on her face as she rubbed her hips gingerly. Her usual confidence seemed to have taken a hit after last night's experience. Valyana, ever the teasing one, grinned mischievously at her. So, how was it? Kurumi shot her a glare, her cheeks flushed with both embarrassment and irritation. You. No one warned me he's that intense. My hips feel all wobbly now. She crossed her arms with a huff. I finally understand what you meant about not being able to handle him alone. Kiyohime, sitting beside her with a calm yet knowing expression, sipped her tea and smirked. We did try to tell you, but you brushed it off. There's a reason we welcome new members to this family. You didn't believe us, did you? Kurumi clicked her tongue, muttering under her breath. I thought you were exaggerating. Now I know better. Just then, Satria walked in, carrying plates of food with his usual relaxed demeanor. Here you go. Breakfast is ready, he announced, setting down steaming plates of perfectly crafted omuris. The golden aroma filled the air, and all eyes turned to the food. Valyana and Kiyohime leaned in, their mouths already watering. Thank you, Danasama, Kiyohime said sweetly, leaning over to kiss his cheek. Thanks, hubby, Valyana chimed, doing the same. Kurumi watched the scene unfold, blinking in surprise as her new rivals kissed Satria as though it was the most natural thing in the world. She narrowed her eyes and sighed. My. So this is the breakfast routine, hey? Satria chuckled. You don't need to overthink it. Just eat. You'll love it. Kurumi raised a brow as she picked up her fork and took a small bite. The moment the flavors hit her tongue, her eyes widened in amazement. This is incredible. You can cook too? Is there anything you can't do? Valyana smirked, clearly enjoying Kurumi's reaction. Told you. He's full of surprises. Go on, admit it. Yuri falling for him all over again. Kurumi's cheeks turned crimson, but she refused to admit defeat. Humph, don't get ahead of yourselves. It's just really good, that's all. After a moment, Kurumi set her fork down and fixed Satria with a curious gaze. By the way, I've been meaning to ask. How did you manage to stabilize Zafkiel? She crossed her arms, leaning slightly forward. I already tested it and unlike before, I don't feel my lifespan decreasing. What did you do? Satria blinked at her sudden shift in tone, his expression turning thoughtful. Oh, that, he said, as if it were the simplest thing in the world. I just trusted my feelings. Kurumi's brow twitched, and she tilted her head. Your feelings? Valyana couldn't suppress a laugh. Here we go. He's about to give you one of his trademark childish genius explanations. Satria cleared his throat, ignoring her teasing. Okay, so it's like this, Zafkiel's power was out of sync with you, kind of like a clock that's ticking too fast. I used my energy to calm it down, sort of like singing a lullaby to a restless baby. Kurumi's mouth fell open slightly. A lullaby? He nodded earnestly, completely serious. And then, with the op no mi, I adjusted your connection to Zafkiel. I just thought of it like rewiring a toy that's short-circuiting simple stuff. Kurumi stared at him, utterly dumbfounded. Simple? You're telling me you repaired a dimension warping, time-manipulating angel with a lullaby and the mental equivalent of tinkering with a toy? Satria shrugged. Well, yeah. I mean, it worked, didn't it? Valyana was practically doubled over with laughter at this point, and even Kurumi couldn't hold back the faintest smile. You're an idiot, she muttered, shaking her head. But despite her words, there was a softness in her tone, a warmth that hadn't been there before. Maybe, Satria said with a grin. But I'm your idiot now, right? Kurumi's face turned scarlet again, and she grabbed her glass of water, hastily taking a sip to hide her expression. The room filled with light laughter as the family enjoyed their breakfast together, the warmth of their bond growing with each shared moment. Satria stood outside an abandoned factory, the dim glow of his cigarette flickering in the cold night. He wore a black hoodie jacket, blending into the shadows. He exhaled a plume of smoke, his sharp eyes scanning the area. Moments later, 5 silhouettes slipped into the factory. Not long after, 5 figures approached from the opposite direction. Satria straightened, flicking his cigarette to the ground and crushing it underfoot. You must be Kokobeel, he said, his tone calm but edged with caution. The figure at the front smirked, his crimson eyes gleaming in the dim light. That's right. And you're the mysterious merchant everyone's been talking about. As promised, I've brought your payment $500 million. At Cockabille's signal, his subordinates began unloading 12 duffel bags from a sleek black car, each one packed with cash. The air between them grew tense. Satria's gaze shifted to the 2 men and 2 women in black attire standing behind Cockabille. Who are they? I'm pretty sure I told you to come alone, Mr. Cockabille. Cockabille chuckled, his tone light but firm. Come now, Mr. Satria. This isn't my first rodeo dealing with unusual individuals. Surely, you didn't expect me to walk into this alone. Fair enough, Satria said with a shrug. He reached into his inventory, summoning the fabled Excalibur Destruction. Cockabille's smile widened as his eyes fixed on the weapon. Finally, the real deal. Satria held up the sword. Let's keep this simple. On the count of 3, we exchange. No tricks, no sudden moves. Agreed. Cockabille nodded. Agreed. 1. Both sides tensed. 2. Cockabille's grip on his duffel bags tightened. 3. In an instant, Satria grabbed the bags, his movements almost impossibly fast. Cockabille snatched the sword with impressive speed. Both parties stepped back, inspecting their respective prizes. Satria's hands blurred as he counted the money at superhuman speed, then checked it using advanced detection tools. The weight, consistency, and contents all matched perfectly. 2.5 tons of cash, exactly as promised. Meanwhile, Cockabille examined the Excalibur Destruction, his eyes gleaming with satisfaction. It's genuine. The legendary Excalibur Destruction in my hands. I'm honestly surprised you'd part with something so priceless for mere money. Satria smirked. Why not? You paid in full. Business is business, Mr. Cockabille. He touched the hidden communication device on his collar. Calm down, girls. Everything's under control. Cockabille chuckled, extending a hand. You've impressed me, Mr. Satria. I half expected this to be some elaborate scam, but you've proven yourself. And for the record, I despise violence too. Satria accepted the handshake, matching his smile. Thank you for your purchase, and I feel the same way about unnecessary conflict. If I may ask, what's your plan for this weapon? Cockabille's eyes gleamed with ambition. To change the world. An admirable dream, Satria replied smoothly. I wish you success, Mr. Cockabille. You have my support in spirit. Cockabille inclined his head, his mood visibly lifted. You're quite the businessman, Mr. Satria. I'll be sure to leave a glowing review on your online store. I'd appreciate that. Goodbye, and good luck. With that, Cockabille and his entourage departed, satisfaction etched across their faces. As they drove away, Cockabille clenched the sword tightly, his mind already racing. With 5 Excalibur fragments now in my possession, the time has come. Soon, the biblical factions will crumble before me. You're insane, hubby, selling Excalibur to Cockabille, Valiana said, walking beside Satria, her tone a mix of disbelief and amusement. Phew. Satria always does the unthinkable, Kurumi chimed in, her ember eyes glinting with intrigue. But surely you realize this will make your enemy stronger? You've just handed him a powerful weapon. Kiyohime crossed her arms, her confidence unwavering. Humph! That so-called weapon is nothing more than a toy. It poses no threat to my Dana-sama. His power eclipses these pathetic crows. Satria chuckled at her unwavering faith. Cockabille isn't my enemy, Kiyo. He's the biblical faction's problem. To me, he's just a great customer. And besides, doesn't his deep hatred for his own faction intrigue you? Aren't you curious about what made him this way? Kurumi tilted her head thoughtfully. It is unusual for someone to harbor such intense hatred for their own side. What are you thinking, darling? Valyana shrugged. From what Azazel told me, Kokabeel just lost his mind after the war ended. Nothing more, nothing less. Satria groaned and bopped her on the head with his fist. Ouch! Hubby! That hurts! Valyana whined, rubbing her head. Idiot, Satria said, shaking his head. Don't take Azazel's words at face value. He's a snake, Valyana. The kind of guy who keeps skeletons in his closet and manipulates everyone under his thumb. Never trust him completely. Valyana pouted. Fine, fine. But you could have told me without hitting me. Kurumi chuckled softly. Poor Valyana. That said, darling, what's your plan? Do we intervene, or let this play out? Satria smirked, his eyes glinting with mischief. For now, we sit back and enjoy the show. Let Kokabeel think he's won the lottery. Kurumi's lips curled into a sly smile. How devious! That's one of the reasons I love you, Satria. Always playing the long game. Just don't get too comfortable, hubby, Valyana said, still rubbing her head. You may be stronger than anyone, but letting people like Kokabeel run loose is bound to cause chaos. Chaos isn't always bad, Satria said with a shrug. Sometimes, it's the perfect distraction to uncover the truth. Kiyohime nodded, standing closer to him. And when the time comes, Danasama will crush anyone who dares threaten this family. Exactly, Satria said with a grin. Now, let's see how this little drama unfolds. Kyoah Academy. Kyoah, Japan. How much longer until it's complete, Valper? Kokabeel asked, his tone calm but filled with anticipation as he sat on his makeshift throne, his wings casting an ominous shadow across the chamber. Just 5 more minutes, my lord, Valper Galilei, the archbishop-turned-researcher, replied with a sinister grin as he worked on merging the Excalibur fragments. Rias Gremaris Peerage and the 2 exorcists burst into the room, their faces pale with shock as they felt the immense holy power radiating from the nearly completed weapon. What, in the world? Rias murmured, her crimson eyes narrowing as she sensed the unholy fusion of divine energy. Valper cackled with delight as the process neared completion. At last, the ultimate weapon. The 5 fragments of Excalibur will become one. Satria stood atop a nearby rooftop, holding back laughter as he watched the chaos unfold below. The sight of Rias and her allies' panicked faces was too amusing to ignore. Perfect timing, he muttered, pulling out his phone. With a flick of his finger, he opened the dimensional chat and started a live stream. If anyone needed a good show, it was his chat group. _______. Shin Online. Shin, hey, want to hear a joke? At King of Knights, what do you mean by a joke? Shin starts a live stream. Shin, take a look. Excalibur in my world broke into 7 pieces. Someone here is trying to merge 5 of them for, let's just say less than holy purposes. King of Knights, what? How dare they desecrate the Excalibur like this? God of Hope, calm down, Artoria. Satria's clearly just stirring the pot again. Shin, stirring the pot? Me? Never. I'm an innocent bystander. God of Hope, sure, and I'm the King of World. Pervert Sage, Naruto, is she calling you that? What's with this tone, hey? Are you two an item now? God of Hope, yes. Shin, wait, hold up. Naruto the player is real. Damn, we've been out here living wrong. God of Hope, don't call me that, you bastard. King of Knights, language, Naruto. God of Hope, sorry, dear. Pervert Sage, I'm proud of you, my boy. Truly, you've surpassed your master loudly crying face. _______. Kokobile smirked as he watched Rias and her team regroup, his blood-red eyes gleaming with malice. His plan was unfolding perfectly. "Ah, how wonderful," he said, his voice oozing with arrogance. "The little sister of Surtsk's Lucifer, along with the church's pawns, have come to witness history. You'll be the first casualties of the Second Great War." He burst into laughter, the sound echoing ominously through the chamber. Rias clenched her fists. "We won't let you start another war, Kokobile. We'll stop you here and now." Unbeknownst to them, Satria leaned back on his perch, enjoying the unfolding drama. "Let the show begin," he muttered, his grin widening. To be continued. Chapter 74, Side Story, Shadow and Rose. /n, this side story takes place after Chapter 56. _______. Beacon Academy. Vale. A black-haired girl clad in a red cloak chatted animatedly with a young man in a sleek, black suit. Their encounter was an unexpected collision of worlds: Ruby Rose and Dick Grayson, also known as Robin. Their meeting followed a peculiar accident involving an elixir of the mind that Dick had given Ruby. Now, they stood together under the shade of a large tree, their curiosity about each other deepening. "So, you're a real-life hero in your world, Big Brother Robin?" Ruby asked, her silver eyes sparkling with wonder. She handed him a small pack of cookies, a gesture of gratitude. Robin smiled warmly as he accepted the treat. "You could say that. I'm just a sidekick for now, but yet, I'll try to do my part." He couldn't help but admire Ruby's genuine enthusiasm. Her kind-hearted, free-spirited nature reminded him of what a true hero should be. "How is life as a hero? Is it fun?" Ruby's dream is to be a great hunter and hero like her mother. When she meets one of these heroes, Ruby wants to hear their story and ask for some tips to be better. "Life as a hero is tough. We always risk ourselves to danger for the safety of many people. Normal humans like me need to train our bodies very hard so we can keep up with our friends or enemies who have superpowers. Not saying it difficult to balancing my real life with my hero live." Robin tells her how harsh hero's job is. This is self-esteem job and no one pays him to do it. "You have me now, brat. Learn Shinigami technique and my power from now on so you won't be another weakling." Robin Zanpakuto talking to him. She doesn't want this boy to waste his potential and have meaningless die, but first, she must break his no-killing rule. Her power is best for an assassination or surprise attack. If he keeps holding back to enemy, there is no reason to use her skill. Dick gets what his Zanpakuto try to advise him, but he still can't do it. Harming other people with his ability feel wrong in many way. "Superpowers? You mean like my semblance?" Ruby asked, tilting her head. "Semblance? What's that?" Robin raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "It's a unique ability everyone in my world has. Mine's called Petal Burst." Ruby grinned mischievously. "Wanna see?" Before he could respond, Ruby vanished in a flurry of rose petals. "What the where'd she go?" Robin spun around, his instincts on high alert. A light tap on his shoulder startled him, and without thinking, he flipped the figure onto the ground. "Ruby." Robin is now at the top of Ruby, surprised the one sneaks behind him is her. "Ow!" Ruby's voice came from beneath him, her laugh soft despite the impact. "Guess you've got quick reflexes, hey?" Robin froze, realizing he was pinning Ruby to the ground. Their faces were mere inches apart, her innocent smile catching him off guard. A faint blush crept onto his cheeks as the sweet scent of roses filled his senses. "You okay? Your face looks red," Ruby teased, reaching up to touch his cheek with her gloved hand. "Do you have a fever or something?" Robin in a hurry steps back and takes distance from her. "I am okay. Don't worry about me. I am sorry for doing that to you." He apologizes to her. "It's okay, my bad to spook you, hee. It's my ability that allows me to run faster than average human, not as fast as Shin, but I'm confident I'm fast enough, and here is my baby Crescent Rose. What do you think about her?" Ruby explained her ability and showed her weapon to Dick, its high-caliber sniper scythe. That's a big weapon for someone as small as you, little Rose. Robin teased her. Ruby pouted, disliking to be called as small. I am not small, you and me are not that different in height, Mr. Bat. All right, Robin chuckled. What can it do? With a proud smirk, Ruby transformed Crescent Rose into its sniper rifle form and took aim at a distant tree. The sharp crack of a shot rang out, and the tree shuddered under the impact. How cool is that? She asked, beaming. Robin nodded in approval. Impressive. A weapon that can switch between melee and ranged combat? Your world has some fascinating tech. Ruby practically glowed under his praise. Right. You should show me some weapons from your world sometime and introduce me to your hero friends. Sure. But only if you promise to visit my world someday, Ruby rose. He reached out and lightly patted her head, earning a giggle. Side end. Chapter 75, Chapter 61. The Excalibur. I see. Is Sir Sertsk's coming? Or perhaps Sierra Fall? Kokabeel sneered, his piercing gaze fixed on Rias and her peerage. We don't need my brother or Serafal Sama to defeat you. Rias shot back sharply, her crimson hair billowing in the wind. Her tone was fierce, a testament to her pride and determination. She despised being underestimated. Kokabeel chuckled darkly. I see. So you brats want to die by my hands that badly, do you? Ha ha ha. Very well. Let's see if you can handle this. He raised his hand and unleashed a devastating shockwave that rippled toward them, tearing through the air with destructive force. Evade his attack. Rias commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. The peerage scattered as the shockwave obliterated the gymnasium behind them, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. What a terrifying power, Akeno murmured, her usual playful demeanor replaced with solemnity. So this is the strength of a fallen angel Cotter, Kaiba muttered, his grip tightening on his sword. The sheer impact of Kokabile's power left him shaken, though he refused to let fear consume him. Nearby, Zenobia stepped forward, her eyes locked on Kaiba. Hey, blonde devil! Lend me a weapon. I'm not going to stand around and be useless here. Kaiba nodded, summoning a sword with sword birth and tossing it to her. Don't misunderstand, Kaiba said curtly. I'm only doing this because it's an emergency. I still despise people from the church. Zenobia caught the sword with a smirk. How convenient. I feel the same about devils. Without missing a beat, she joined Kaiba in preparing for battle. Please, don't fight among yourselves, Asia pleaded, her hands clasped tightly. Come on, Zenobia-chan, Irina chimed in, trying to defuse the tension. Let's focus on defeating Kokabeel first. We can argue later. Meanwhile, Konako stood firm, her eyes narrowing as she observed Kokabeel. He's strong, but not as strong as Satria or his family. Her resolve strengthened as she clenched her fists. I need to get stronger too, to be worthy of staying by his side. What's the matter, thieving cat? Scared? Ravel teased, a mischievous glint in her eyes. No, Konako replied flatly, a hint of annoyance in her tone. And for the last time, I'm not interested in Issei-senpai's fried chicken. She grumbled inwardly, regretting the lie she once told to cover up her true intentions. Sure, Ravel teased further. Keep telling yourself that. Kokabeel laughed, his voice dripping with malice. How dull. But no matter. Let's see if you can entertain me, Gremory. His sinister smile widened, his confidence unwavering. Across the field, Issei's hands trembled as he stared at the overwhelming enemy. See, can we even defeat him, Drake? He thought nervously. I don't think we're ready to fight someone like him. His power is immense, Drake replied in a grave tone. The ancient texts spoke of Kokabile's might. To have survived battles with the gods and demon lords, he is indeed formidable. Then what do I do? Issei asked, desperation creeping into his voice. If it comes to it, you can give most of your body over to my influence. That might be enough to take him down, Drake advised. If not, your best option is to buy time until Surtsk's or another powerful ally arrives. Issei shook his head, his fear turning to frustration. I don't think we can hold out that long. Sonokai's already setting up a barrier to minimize the damage, but innocent people could still get hurt if we fail. Ria stepped forward, her voice steady and commanding. Enough hesitation, Issei. Kokabeel is strong, but we've faced impossible odds before. Trust in your power and in all of us. Issei took a deep breath, nodding. The fear in his chest didn't disappear, but her words gave him strength. All right then, Kokabeel sneered, raising his hand. A massive magic circle appeared in the air, pulsating with dark energy. Let's see how you handle this. From the circle emerged a monstrous figure, its form shaking the ground beneath it. A three-headed dog with pitch-black skin and glowing red eyes stepped forward, growling menacingly. I've brought a little pet from hell. Go ahead, have fun with it first. Kokabeel smirked, folding his arms. Good luck, you'll need it. Rias and her peerage stared in shock, the air heavy with dread. Cerberus! Rias exclaimed, her voice trembling with a mix of fury and disbelief. How dare you summon a creature like that to the human realm? Breaking the taboo so brazenly. You'll pay for this. The Cerberus roared, its three heads snapping and snarling, saliva dripping from its fangs. That thing looks nasty to fight, Issei muttered, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. He forced himself into a karate stance, his legs trembling slightly. Guess we've got no choice. Ria stepped forward, her determination shining through. No turning back now. We're going to send this beast back to where it belongs with the power of our bonds. Her words resonated with the group, sparking a renewed sense of determination. Yes, Bucku, the peerage shouted in unison, their voices filled with resolve except for the exorcists, who exchanged skeptical glances. On the rooftop overlooking the battlefield, Satria, Kiyohime, Valyana, and Kurumi watched the chaos unfold below. They weren't here to intervene, merely to observe the potential of Konako, the girl their husband seemed to hold in high regard. Power of friendship! Ha ha ha! Satria burst into laughter, clutching his sides as he rolled on the floor. That has to be the best joke I've heard all day. Kiyohime sighed, shaking her head at his antics. Danasama, please stop acting like a child and come here. She reached over, pulling him to her side and wrapping herself around his right arm. Resting her head on his shoulder, she smiled contentedly. This is my favorite spot. Hey! That's not fair, it's supposed to be me there. Valyana huffed, quickly sitting on his left side and mimicking Kiyohime's actions. She leaned into him with a playful grin. Hee hee! My beloved hubby! Kurumi, not one to be outdone, sauntered over with a sly smile. Not fair, I want darling's attention too. Without hesitation, she plopped herself right in the middle of Satria's lap. This place isn't bad, Kurumi purred, shifting slightly to make herself comfortable. She leaned back against him and deliberately moved her hips, her teasing smirk daring the other two to react. Kiyohime and Valyana glared daggers at her, their jealousy unmistakable. But Kurumi simply responded with a coy smile, basking in the attention. Satria, meanwhile, was trying his best to stay composed, though he couldn't help but notice the pleasant fragrance surrounding him. He took a deep breath and thought to himself, so this is what they mean by wanji wanji. In the depths of his mind, Fatalis chuckled. If their fans from your past world saw this, they'd be out for blood. Satria smirked, his confidence unshaken. They're welcome to try. I'd kick their asses first and send them packing to a certain blood god. Kiyohime tilted her head curiously. Danasama, what's so amusing? Nothing, Satria replied, grinning. Just imagining how much fun it'd be to crush a few overzealous fanboys. Valyuna snickered. Sounds like something I'd pay to watch. _______. Robin, don't tell me he's already hooked up with that psycho girl? Dude, haven't you ever heard the saying, never put yourself in the crazy? Kazuma-sama, wait. Are you telling me this bastard is actually dating Kurumi and now he's flaunting it in our faces? Normie. Pervert sage, ha ha ha. I like your spirit and style, Satria-kun. Truly inspiring. You've given me so many new ideas for personal projects. Fran, what's that evil doing in Satria's world? And who are those two women clinging to his sides? Explain yourself. Cookies maniac, why are you so mad, Kazuma? And you too, Fran. Isn't it nice that friends are enjoying time together? Spider-Man. Robin, Ruby, trust me, you don't need to know. It's too early for you to be exposed to this. Cookies maniac, humph. Stop treating me like a child. I'm not a little kid, you know. ______. Satria sighed, his focus slipping from the battle below as Kurumi continued to tease him. She shifted provocatively on his lap, her actions leaving him uncomfortable. Or rather, far too comfortable for the situation. Kurumi, he said, his voice strained. Can you stop this? I can't focus on watching the fight when you're doing that. His face flushed as something inconveniently stirred beneath him, made all the worse by the tight confines of his jeans. Aira, I don't know what you mean, darling, Kurumi replied innocently, though the mischievous sparkle in her eyes betrayed her. She shifted again, feeling something firm poking against her back. Smirking, she leaned in closer. Oh my, what could this be? Satria groaned inwardly, cursing his predicament. Is this what people mean by no pain, no gain? Omu. Lucky Satria. Fatalis quipped in his mind, her voice laced with amusement. Shut up, Fatalis, Satria muttered, closing the live stream. You leave me no choice. In a blink of an eye, he coated his hand with cosmos energy and used his super speed to caress Kurumi's body with what he called his heavenly touch. It was so swift and precise that Kurumi didn't have time to react. Ah! Kurumi let out an uncharacteristic cry, her eyes wide as her body trembled. Heat flooded her senses as an overwhelming, unfamiliar sensation coursed through her. What? What are you doing to me? She gasped, her cheeks flushed crimson. Satria smirked, leaning back as if nothing had happened. Your fault. You shouldn't have pushed me. And for the record, don't compare me to your ex, my dear emo girl. Kurumi glared at him weakly, struggling to suppress the sensations overwhelming her. For the last time, he is not my boyfriend, she snapped. But her defiance crumbled as she clung to him, her voice softening. Darling. I'm sorry for teasing you earlier. Please. Her plea was met with a chuckle from Valyuna, who leaned over with a mischievous grin. Poor thing, but sorry, Kurumi-chan, you're forbidden from that right now. Her hands darted out, fondling Kurumi's chest. Kurumi squirmed, her voice shaky. What? But I can't take it anymore. Just one time is enough, she cried out, her desperation growing. And stop rubbing my breasts, Valyuna-san. Valyuna smirked, ignoring her protests as she continued to toy with her. You're such a tease, but look at you now. Aren't you just adorable? Kiyohime, Satria said, his tone calm yet firm, as he glanced at his wife. Kiyohime, who had been silently observing Kurumi's antics with a mix of irritation and amusement, sighed. Humph! Who gave you the audacity to seduce my Dana-sama in broad daylight? She shot Kurumi a sharp look before forming a shimmering magic circle around them. Fine, One time only. I'll make sure no one sees or hears what happens here. You're lucky I'm feeling generous. The air within the barrier became still, the sounds of the world outside muted. Kiyohime crossed her arms, standing beside Satria like a silent judge. Satria leaned back, his smirk growing as his eyes settled on Kurumi, who was now nervously fidgeting under the combined gazes of him and Kiyohime. I wonder, Satria said, his tone teasing, what I should do with a bad girl like you. Kurumi's face flushed as she squirmed under the intensity of his words. Darling. She stammered, her usual confidence faltering. Kiyohime chuckled softly, her voice carrying a dangerous edge. You should feel honored, Kurumi-san. After all, not everyone gets a punishment from my Dana-sama. Kurumi bit her lip, torn between embarrassment and anticipation as she tried to regain her composure. Well, Kurumi, Satria said, his smirk deepening as he leaned forward slightly. Are you ready to face the consequences of your actions? Konako, her usual calm demeanor replaced with an uncharacteristic intensity, clenched her fists tightly. Without a word, she charged forward and delivered a devastating punch to the Cerberus's face, sending the massive beast flying across the battlefield. Everyone froze, their jaws dropping in disbelief as the towering creature crashed into the ground with a thunderous impact. Konako-chan. That was incredible! Issei shouted, his eyes wide with awe. Rias, equally stunned, turned to Haruka. Konako, where is this strength coming from? And, why do you look so angry? Konako straightened herself, brushing off her knuckles as if punching a Cerberus was no big deal. Her expression returned to its usual stoic calm. I'm not angry, Baku. That's just your imagination. Rias frowned, unconvinced, but chose not to press further. Nearby, Ravel huffed, crossing her arms as she glared at Konako. Humph! Don't think this little stunt puts you above me, thieving cat. Watch and learn. Raising her hand, Ravel summoned a brilliant fireball and launched it at the recovering Cerberus. The flames engulfed the beast, forcing it to retreat with a pained howl. Turning back to Issei with a proud grin, Ravel flipped her hair dramatically. Well? What do you think of my magic, Issei? Issei, always quick to cheer on his friends, gave her an enthusiastic thumbs up. That was amazing, Ravel-chan. As expected from the Phoenix clan. Ravel's smile widened as she basked in his praise. Of course. Who do you think I am? I'm Ravel Phoenix, after all. Konako, standing silently nearby, gave the faintest hint of an eye roll before muttering under her breath, show off. You're not bad, baby girl, Satria said softly, patting Kurumi's head as she rested in his embrace. He had shifted his focus back to the battle. Kurumi, still basking in the afterglow of their earlier interaction, had a blissful expression on her face. Pleasure spread through her body, a sense of satisfaction lingering from Satria's touch. She had no idea how incredible the connection between a man and a woman could be. His touch was gentle and warm, unlike anything she had ever experienced. It didn't hurt, instead, it gave her unimaginable pleasure. Looks like someone's enjoying themselves, Valyana teased, her smirk turning into a mischievous grin. She leaned down and kissed her sister's wife passionately. Kurumi blushed but pouted in response. Don't tease me, Valyana. Satria, still watching the battle, turned his gaze to Valyana. What do you think about her? He asked, genuinely curious. Valyana hummed thoughtfully before answering, she's too weak. She has a long way to go before she can catch up to her sister, Kurika. Satria nodded in agreement but added, I see. Kiyohime, overhearing the conversation, frowned and crossed her arms. Nothing special. This little girl doesn't even use her Nikomata traits in battle. Honestly, I bet you only accepted her into our family to fulfill your stupid little fetish, Eulalicon. Satria winced as his wife slapped the back of his head. Ouch! That hurts, dear, he groaned, wincing. Of course, that's not my reason. Who do you think I am? He quickly defended himself. Kiyohime just scoffed. Kurumi, who had been quiet for a moment, leaned closer to Satria with a teasing glint in her eye. So, your fetish is cat girls, hey? I love cats too, you know? For me, she's passable. She whispered softly in his ear, her breath warm and tantalizing. How about we start round 2 at home now? I'll do any role play you desire, even cosplay as a cat girl. What do you think, Naya? Satria's eyes widened slightly at her words, a smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. What an interesting suggestion, my love, he thought. I can't wait to see you. But just as he was about to respond, he felt a cold, chilling aura radiating from Kiyohime. He quickly changed the subject. Ah, never mind. He opened the chat group on his phone and activated the live stream once again, choosing to avoid further provocation. Did you forget your promise, Kurumi-san? Kiyohime asked sweetly, her voice laced with a menacing undertone as she flashed an unnerving smile. Kurumi, sensing the dangerous vibe, quickly straightened up. Of course not, Kiyohime-san. It was just a joke, she said with an innocent smile, trying to smooth things over. Issei boosted the power of Rias and Akeno, combining Rias's destruction magic with Akeno's lightning magic. The sheer power of their combined attack surged forward toward Kokabile. However, to their shock, Kokabile simply raised one hand, effortlessly blocking their combined assault without even breaking a sweat. No way! He blocked Buku's powered-up magic with just one hand. Issei's voice cracked with disbelief as he realized just how outmatched they were. Kokabile looked at them, his eyes narrowing with a sense of quiet admiration. I see. With the power of the Red Dragon, you can draw out this much strength. Impressive, he said, acknowledging Issei's sacred gear. But before Issei could respond, the Archbishop of Kokabile's faction suddenly erupted into maniacal laughter, echoing through the air. Ha 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 ha! It's complete, the Archbishop shouted, his voice filled with mad glee. The ritual to fuse the 5 Excalibur fragments is finished. Within 20 minutes, this entire city will be leveled. What? The shock rippled through Rias's peerage, their faces pale with fear as they realized the gravity of the situation. 20 minutes? We won't even have time to wait for Surtsk-sama's reinforcements, Issei said, panic evident in his voice. Kokabile's smile widened as he turned toward his subordinate. Freed, he called, his voice cold and commanding. The insane priest, Freed, appeared in front of them, his crazed eyes gleaming with unrestrained madness. What do you need from me, boss? He asked, his voice dripping with lunacy. For the final act of entertainment, show them the power of the fused Excalibur. Kokabile ordered, his voice full of malicious excitement. Freed grinned widely and approached the Excalibur, his eyes alight with excitement. Sure, boss. You know, boss loves to treat his people roughly, Freed muttered to himself, walking toward the legendary holy sword. But, to wield such an awesome Excalibur isn't that just the greatest honor? With that, he licked the blade of the sword with a crazed grin, like a madman savoring his victory. We have a common enemy here, Zenobia said, her voice hardening with resolve. Let's destroy that holy sword together. Kaiba turned to her, his expression serious. Are you sure about this? Zenobia nodded, her eyes burning with determination. It's the worst case scenario, but as long as I can collect the shards, it's fine. We'll do whatever it takes. Satria chuckled as he looked at the group chat. Someone's really triggered in the chat group. Wah ha 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 ha, he laughed, clearly entertained by the reactions. Kurumi pinched his cheek gently. Darling, it's a bad habit to make people angry like that, she scolded him softly. You should change that before it catches up with you. She's right, Danasama, Kiyohime added, her tone agreeing with her sister's sentiment. Valyana crossed her arms, raising an eyebrow. Taunting's fine, but you really take it to another level sometimes. Where did you even learn all this? She asked, her frustration creeping into her voice. Satria scratched his head, a sheepish grin on his face. From the sea server, he answered, fully aware how ridiculous that sounded. The sea server, a place where animals gathered, wasn't exactly the place for well-mannered conversation. Shin, what do you think? If that was me, I don't know how to say it, but they're going to experience something very bad. I'm not sure about you though, smirking face, or maybe you're afraid of them. I can't blame you, they do look dangerous. King of Night, how dare they? How dare they call that abomination Excalibur? And worse, use it in the hands of someone who looks like a madman. God of Hope, can you stop provoking her fury and just defeat them? Kuroniko, at Shin, you still haven't answered my question. Who are the women beside you? Shin, they're my wife, Fran. Pervert sage, wow. How about you and at Evil? I saw your interaction before, you two look close. Shin, we officially started dating recently, kissing face with closed eyes after witnessing my awesomeness. Kurumi couldn't hold back her feelings for me. To celebrate this happy moment, I'll be giving away 5,000 copyright to one lucky person. Please choose a number between 1 and 50. I'll roll the dice and announce the winner. Pervert sage, young men these days are quick. My number is 17, because I'm an eternal 17, hehe. Esteth, congratulations to you both, I chose number 9. Kazuma-sama, bastard. You're a player like Naruto too, hey? Is there no pure guy like me? I chose number 25, by the way, hehe. Satria, coming from someone who lives with 3 girls in his mansion but is too much of a coward to make a move. Kazuma-sama, I'm not a coward. I just don't want to be associated with weird girls. Evil spirit, maybe Peter-kun? He seems like a normal and innocent boy. Spider-Man, I'm glad you think of me like that, but this boy already graduated and has 2 wonderful girls as his life companions. Kazuma, no way. Shin, who is this girl? Are Sith and your aunt fine with it? Spider-Man, fortunately, they've blessed our relationship. My second lover's name is Gwen Stacy. Oh, by the way, I chose number 21, Big Bro Satria. Shin, damn, my boy. As long as it's not Mary Jane, I'm good with it. Robin, you're all crazy. It's beyond my mind to have more than one partner. Shin, better us than your playboy tutor face with look of triumph. Robin, I can't deny that. Kuroniko, stupid Satria, I hate you and every womanizer in this stupid group. Kuroniko, log out. Shin. Spider-Man. God of Hope, what are you going to do about her? Shin, I'll talk to her later. Ding. Defeat Kokobile in Shin World. Need 2 participants. Time will be stopped in the participants' world when mission is ongoing. Evil spirits, I'm in his world, so I'll go for this. King of Night,